Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 13th, I think, episode of, or session of the Devouring Dark. So we'll just start off with our slight recap, but first, just so everyone else knows, Ian is just, he is still dealing with some personal issues, so he might be gone for a little bit longer, maybe a few more sessions, but I'm not sure. And we are currently looking for someone else, so there's that as well. So we'll see how that turns out. So we'll start with the recap, and we'll get into the session.
Last time, Jayden and Howler were caught in some sort of dream state. It was turned out to be a spell from the piano woman. They learned of how the darkness was sort of created in one of the cities. That it was just pretty much a science experiment that went wrong or just kind of got abused. And learned that the woman isn't actually evil, but she's just being controlled. Yeah, what are the other big points?
Not too much. Yeah, that's pretty much it, other than when you guys woke up, Howler learned that he has something potentially serious wrong with him, but we'll get into that in a minute. So you guys just woke up. Let me see. So you guys woke up. You notice that Indaro seems to be still asleep, at the moment at least. You also notice that there aren't any people nearby at the moment, but you do know that you are supposed to be going to a meeting, but you're not too sure if it's when it's going to start or anything like that, because you haven't really spoken to anybody yet, because you just woke up. So where would you like to go from here? You just woke up and Indaro is currently still sleeping.
So I'm gonna investigate myself. What's wrong with me?
Alrighty, well, last time you found out that there seems to be something coming out of your skin, and you found out that it's probably linked to some sort of disease, maybe? But other than that, you're not really sure. So you found that out last time.
Is there any like nature or checks or something like that I could do?
Yeah, that's what you rolled last time, and
Oh,
you
okay. Yeah, I
didn't
rolled
get
it.
the exact information on that. But you know that it's probably linked to some sort of disease, but you aren't sure what could have caused it or anything like that.
Jayden, could you take a look at me? I think I got some sort of disease while we were in the underground.
Yeah, I'll have a look.
Alrighty, do a medicine check on him, since he identified that it seemed to be a disease of some sort. And for some reason I'm not in the game. I'll get in there in a second.
12.
I'll see. Oh, you got 12?
Yeah.
You're not 100% sure, but you do think that some sort of it could be some sort of skin disease, maybe, since he pointed it out. You just rub your hand on his skin, and you notice that stuff seems to be coming off on your hand. It looks almost like softened, flaky skin almost, but it comes off in like thick texture, so it's almost like something that you could use for like modeling clay, maybe.
I'm going to use identify on him.
All right. Let me just double check something.
I believe I can do that anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna double check. See if you could use it in that way. Uh, HI identify. Choose one object that you must touch through the casting of the spell. So it seems like it's an object.
At the very
I think
bottom.
you can also do the creatures.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is at the bottom. It's at the bottom. If you instead touch a creature throughout the casting, you learn what spells, if any, are currently affecting it. So you can learn if a spell is affecting him, if
Yeah,
you
if
wish.
it's a spell. Yeah, I'll just check for any spells.
It doesn't seem like he has a spell on him, so you can at least rule that out.
Okay. Well, I guess you're just going to be diseased forever. Sorry, man.
I don't think so. And yeah, I'll head out towards the medical tent then.
Alrighty. If you head over there with him, Jayden, you're going to do that as well?
Yep.
Alrighty. So you both walk over to the medical tent area, and you notice that Fizzleboom is there. He could potentially help you. Other than that, let me see. You also notice that the necromancer seems to be there for some reason or another. He's just looking at somebody at the moment. Other than that, it's just mostly regular people. Some people are trying to change bandages on people, those sorts of things. But other than that, there isn't anybody of too much importance there.
Well, let's go over and talk to Fizzleboom first.
Alrighty. He's just looking at Geodor at the moment. His leg is pretty bad off, but it seems like somehow he managed to get the bones situated, and he has them set in a cast, and sort of like a cast, a rudimentary one, with like wooden braces on the side to keep his leg in place. And yeah, so they're both sitting there. He's sort of like making sure that it's sturdy. He doesn't notice you as you approach.
Well, I'll not sneak up on him, so he'll notice me.
All right, so you just sort of make your presence obvious, and he just looks up and he's like, "Oh, I didn't see you there. um, what can I do for you?"
You have any sort of potion or something that cures diseases?
He's thinking. He says, "Well, we've been using a lot of our supplies. I don't really have anything on hand. I could try to make something for you." What, you have a disease? And
I
he
haven't.
oh, go
Okay.
ahead.
I haven't been able
He
to identify it, is what I was going to say.
Oh, okay. He just says, "Oh, I'll have a look at you." He's going to roll a d20. Let me see if I still have a sheet, actually.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yep. Should be. Should be able to bring it up. Since he already has stats available for me, I may as well use them. Let me see. He's going to do a medicine check. Oh, no. He seems a little bit confused. He touches the stuff and it comes off on his fingers. And actually, he is going to sniff it. And as he does, he is going to... where is it? What's up more? He's going to have to make this. He doesn't make it. So he begins to feel itchy in his nose, and even in a matter of seconds, he starts to begin feeling itchy all over, and he's like, I guess I have it too now. Oh, man, what is this stuff? And he is going to, let me see if he has anything else at his disposal at the moment. He's going to take a scraping of the stuff, and he's going to put it in a jar. And he says, well, now I guess I have to run some tests on this stuff. Maybe come back a little later. Perhaps I'll have something for you then.
Yeah, I'll come back.
All right. He sort of shakes the vial at you, and then he sort of puts it in one of his pouches, and he sort of walks away from Geodor to make sure that he doesn't infect him with whatever it is, and he's going to try and sort of pseudo-quarantine himself to try to figure out what's going on, since he got the disease too. So, do you have any other ideas at the moment?
Yeah, the necromancer.
All right, you can talk to him if you wish. He's just he's examining someone who looks like they're close to death, but they seem stable at the moment. But he's just he seems to be he has a book out in front of him, and he's just waving his hand over them. And he does notice you approach, but he doesn't respond. He just is continuing whatever he is doing.
So you have any experience in magic that removes diseases?
He looks over at you, and he looks at the book, and then he looks at you again and says, interesting. And he is going to... Actually, he doesn't have to do that. He's just going to look at you, and he says, I know what's wrong with you. And he's just looking at his book, and he's continuing whatever he was doing before.
Yeah, I do not know what's wrong with me, so if you would like to explain.
He goes, he closes the book and he puts it in a side satchel that seems to be perfectly sized for the book. And he turns to you and he folds his arms and he says, you have necromancer's clay.
Yes. Is there any way to cure it?
Well, curing, I personally don't worry about that sort of thing. And his jacket, sort of long cloak-like jacket, is sort of open on the top, and you can sort of see his chest. He goes with one of his fingers and goes like this, and you can see that his chest is completely covered in this stuff. And he just he looks at his finger and like scrapes it off, and then you can see his chest is a lot more bony and a lot more a lot less appealing to look at underneath this gunky stuff that he has on him, and it sort of like grows over it again, and you can just sort of watch it grow back over. And he says, it's useful for covering up deformities. It's actually quite a useful disease, but it's mostly used for necromancy. And he sort of scrapes another little chunk off, and he sort of like wraps it in his hands, and it sort of molds to how he wants it, and he makes a cube, and he shows it to you, and he says, "It's very easy to mold, and it's also how I made one of the items I gave you recently." And he just sort of throws it away, and it grows back on his skin. And he says, "Perhaps that's where you got it from. As long as you have it in your possession, you will just keep getting it over and over again. But so you may want to use this item that I've given you."
Okay, so I'm gonna take that heart, and I'm gonna give it back to him.
All right, he takes it. Oh, all right. Just puts
And
it in his
now,
satchel.
you have any idea that could help us in making a cure? Because I don't want to look like you for the rest of my life. No offense.
He chuckles a little bit. You notice that he looks like so his face and stuff sort of looks like he has too much makeup caked on. He has that sort of look. And but he looks relatively normal. But you assume that if he scraped some of that stuff off, perhaps he would look a little bit more on the creepy side. But he just says, "Well, if you want to get rid of it, I would suggest that you take some of it and you put it in a mixture of." And he lists a bunch of regular healing tonic stuff like healing herbs, and he goes into quite detail about them, but I don't have those right here on me at the moment. And
Can we say that before he explains all the details, I'll go get Fizzleboom?
he'll wait if you want him to. He'll
Yeah.
just go back to whatever he was doing with this person while he waits, and it's only a minute or two, and then you come back and he sort of just explains everything to him. And he also explains that, let me see, you are slightly more susceptible to poisons, but it gives you it allows you to cover up physical deformities and those sorts of things, and it also helps in the making of necromantic, raising zombies and those sorts of things. You can sort of sculpt things out of it
Oh.
to create like abominations and those sorts of things. But other than that, it's not too useful for what you would want. So he explains how to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And he just takes out his book and he goes back to whatever he was doing to the person.
So would we have those supplies around here, or what are we
Fizzleboom
missing?
says, yes. Fizzleboom says, "Well, we've used quite a bit of those recently. We have a little bit. We might be able to mix some up, but it'll be later today before I actually get anything worthwhile."
Okay. Maybe I should just stay put today then.
Fizzleboom is just unsure because he's not sure how this thing works, but he goes off and tries to start mixing things on his in his chemistry looking type setup that he has. And the necromancer just seems to be ignoring you, and he's just waving his hand over this person. You're not sure what he's doing.
So Jayden, I guess I'll see you tomorrow then, so you don't contract this shit as well.
Yeah, I'll go look for some herbs how long till the meeting?
You don't have a designated time. It's supposed to be sometime today, and you do know that Lady Dareth is supposed to be coming up sometime in the morning.
Okay, so I'll just look for like 30 minutes.
And
Yeah.
I'll just stick with the Fizzleboom and help him on the potions.
Okay.
All right. He has a little bit, but there are some people that walk by and say, "We need this mixed up. We need that mixed up." So he's running.
It can wait. That's what I tell them when they ask.
They say, one of them says, all right, and he just walks away. And a few of the others seem a little frustrated, but they'll wait inevitably. Let me see. Jayden, you're looking for healing herbs and those sorts of things?
Yep.
In the area? Alright, do a survival check. Right. You take the majority of a half an hour, about, and you find a few things, but it's nothing it's not like extra potent stuff, it's just like run-of-the-mill dried leaves, those sorts of things.
Hmm.
That you find. So you can bring them back, they might help somebody.
Sure.
Alright, so you go back, and after you go back, let me see. Because Fizzleboom can make quite a bit, especially when he's awake. Not taking a long rest is what I mean. So I'd say that he makes up one dose from what he scraped off you before, and he's sort of is acting as though he needs a little bit more, so he scrapes a little bit more off of you, just so that way he can cure himself of it.
Yeah.
So he scrapes a little bit more off of you, and he's going to work on his dose later on. So you have a dose that will cure Necromancer's Clay.
I drink it immediately.
Alrighty. You drink it, and the stuff from coming out stops, but you think you might have to take a bath or something to get rid of the stuff that's on you currently, or just scrape it all off manually, but that might take a little longer.
And I step away for far enough distance from Fizzleboom, and I say thanks for the help, but I'll rather stay away from you until you're cured now.
Yeah, he nods and says, "Don't blame you." And he just goes
So
back
see you
to
around
working.
then.
And he just waves to you, and you continues back on his work, fixing up some potions and those sorts of things.
So I guess I'll head to the closest river or something.
Alright, you can definitely do that. That will take about a half an hour to go there and then back, but the time that it takes for you to wash will take about maybe 10 minutes, I'll say, maximum.
Yeah.
So you can be doing that, and Jayden, you go back and you notice that Howler isn't there when you get back.
Okay. I asked Fizzleboom which way you went.
He sort of motions towards where you know, because you're the one who discovered it, the river that you had to cross in order to get here.
Hmm.
So he motions towards that direction.
I'll look for edible plants on the way, or edible things, or anything to hunt.
All right, that will also require a survival check. So, all right, you find a forest ferret nest, and you also find a tree relatively close by, but not too close. It seems like it's a fruit tree based on your farming knowledge, but it doesn't seem to have fruit on it yet. So you can sort of keep that in mind and perhaps give that to somebody at the camp. Perhaps they could check it later. It might have something on it then. And you do find a few herbs as well. Sort of sane garden variety stuff.
Okay.
Along your way, so you can just pick those up. And you can mark the spots where you found the other stuff as well. And as you approach, you notice that Howler is getting his armor back on from having washed himself off.
Okay.
be kind of awkward if you walked in on him on the middle of washing himself, but he's finished by the time you get there, so.
I think I found a ferret nest on the way here.
Well, that's nice. How many did you see?
I'm not sure. I only saw that it was a nest.
Yeah, you saw like the
approach.
telltale signs of the nest. You didn't really look in it or anything.
Okay, I guess we can do that on the way back.
Yeah.
If you wish, you can. So on your way back, he leads you to where the nest is. He's pretty good at being able to find his way through the woods, so I won't make you roll for that at the moment. So he leads you back, and you see the telltale holes, like one hole over here, one hole over here, sort of thing that you noticed before. But you don't see any movement on the outside or anything. There's nothing like poking its head out or anything.
So
did
so I
you
got
have
those
the rope for traps again?
Yeah, I believe I do.
We could put them up.
Yeah, you can easily have that. Let me see. So you set that up. It takes about a couple minutes to set that up properly. So there's one trap on one hole. If you have more rope and stuff,
I should have rope in my backpack too. So
yeah, you probably do. So you can also set that up on the other side if you wish.
yeah. No, both
Right.
on the same side, probably.
All right, that's fine if you want to do that as well. Okay, so how do you wish to activate the running into the trap?
I'll probably go to the other hole and cast what is it? Firebolt into the hole.
Sure, you can do that.
I'm
So
ready with my crossbow too.
alrighty, sure thing. So as soon as he casts the firebolt, you hear like little noises from inside the hole, and you see two adults run up. Let me see. I'll just make a d20 roll to determine this. The first one gets caught, and the second one does not. A third adult comes running out, though. You can use your crossbow on the one that managed to elude the trap and run around it, if you
I'll
wish.
do that.
All right, roll to hit.
Normal and there.
Yeah, that definitely hits that thing, and I'll say that you don't even have to roll damage. It's not a very strong creature, so it doesn't have much hit points. So it's got a thing stuck in its side, and it's not moving anymore. A third adult comes running out. That one eluded the trap as well, but you don't have enough time to shoot that one because you have to reload. Let's see, and two babies come out.
And how far do they run per turn?
They can run, let me see. They can run 20 paces, so 20 feet.
Okay, because I can run 50 and still shoot.
Yeah, that's true. So you could catch up to that other one. This baby one, I think I rolled that 5 for the baby one. So the baby one is caught, and a couple more babies come out, and they are running away as well. So you can attempt to get the first one, adult one, if you wish.
Yep. Can I just go? I'm gonna run up to him and I'm gonna try and grab him.
All right, sure. You catch up to him easily. You're close enough to him. So you can try to do a grapple.
Grapple or acrobatics to try and get a hold of him because it's so small.
I'll say that you can do either dexterity, a dexterity-based one, or a strength-based one on this one, just since it's so small, I guess. Let me see. It's going to attempt to evade. Yeah, even it's quite dexterous, but even with that, it's not going to be able to catch up to you. So it is now caught, and it's sort of squealing in your grasp.
Yeah, you can do your turn, but I'm just gonna snap its neck when I catch it.
All right, so you can just it makes a little bit of noise before you snap its neck, and then you do. The baby ones are still within range if Jayden wishes to do something.
I'll just dispatch the one in the trap.
Alrighty, fair enough. Does Howler wish to pursue the baby ones, or is he just going to let them go?
We got how many? 4?
You got, you shot one, you broke the neck
I
of
shot
one.
2, and there's 2 in traps, right?
There's
Yeah.
one in the trap. Or is there 2 in the traps?
There's a baby one in the trap.
Okay, so we have 3 adults and 1 baby. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll just dispatch those ones.
Alright, that's fine. You just shink. They're not moving or anything, and so you're not going to miss. So they are in your possession as food, I suppose. And the other baby ones are currently retreating, so they are now out of sight.
Okay.
Alright, and you do have the fruit tree location if you wish to keep that in mind.
Right.
So you can continue back now if you wish.
Yep, reclaim all the ropes and stuff, and then head back.
Alrighty.
Yep.
Let me see. So you reclaim everything, that's fine. That'll take a couple minutes, not too long. So you've been awake for about an hour at this point. So you're heading back, and you're back now. So it's been about approximately an hour, maybe a little bit over an hour since you woke up, and you're back at the camp. Let me see. The archaeologist seems to be waiting at the edge of the camp in the direction that you guys are coming from. He doesn't notice you currently.
I'll say hi to him.
All right, he greets you, and he says, oh, the lady is here.
Which lady? The Durgar?
Yes, she happened to notice me, and things went a little bit hairy for a moment there, but hopefully things will calm down.
Oh.
So did you want to start the meeting since she is here? Perhaps you want her to do something as well?
Sure. Take these over to the butcher. I'll hand them over.
he just sort of, all right. Anything else you want me to do?
Yeah, take these as well, and I hand him my 2 as well.
And he just goes, okay. And he starts walking away. Unless if you have anything else you want him to do.
Nope.
Alrighty. So he just walks away for the moment. So she said, you guys said that you would have your guard keep her in the, like, church type area. So she is probably there at the moment, waiting.
Yep.
So if you have anybody else you wish to bring for the meeting, now would be a good time.
Mossbeard.
Yeah, you can easily find him.
Anyway, you think of anyone else? Should we bring the Lehman leader? Maybe they could help us.
Possibly.
Yeah, let's bring the Lehman leader. And I mean, Mossbeard does have some of the doppelgangers and some of the thieves, right? So we don't really have to bring them.
We just got
Yeah,
to know
that's
what
fine.
the plan is. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll bring Mossbeard and a Lehman.
All right. There are a few other people you could bring if you wish. The Necromancer is a possibility. Let me see. Yeah, the Doppelganger leader, and the. Let me see. Oh yeah, the rock thrower. He might be of use, but maybe not in a meeting setting. But otherwise, you guys can go in if you wish.
Yeah, I think we'll. Unless you want to bring any of them, then I think we're good. My character wouldn't ask the necromancer right now because he just got rid of that disease.
Well, does Jayden have any specifics that he would want to bring?
Debating on whether or not to bring rock thrower.
If
Think
you
I'll
He's
just
ask,
ask him.
currently sitting on the edge of the camp where you guys are approximately are. So
if you ask
I'll
me,
probably
it's
ask
better
him.
to. If you ask me, it's better to just tell him what to do afterwards.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
well, he'll just continue to sit there. He's not gonna do anything today because he seems to.
Or isn't that lady in him now? Or is that? Didn't she say something like that?
She said that she experienced, like, you guys were sort of experiencing visions through the ghosts that she summoned. So she was saying that she experienced a similar sort of thing through him, but it seems like it might have just been a vision that she was talking
Okay.
about.
Okay.
Alrighty. So, so you guys head there, you notify the people that you want to bring, and they also show up. So you guys head into the temple, and you're currently in the front area where the pews are, near where the door is, where you go down into the Underdark. And Lady Dareth is standing there waiting, and it seems that she brought someone with her. It is somebody you recognize, which is Mistress Adarin has also come.
Okay.
So she will be there as well. So Lady Dareth puts her hand up and in recognition of your approach, and she says, "So, I heard that you guys wanted to do something, plan an attack. Maybe I heard you already got attacked, but is there anything in particular that you want us to do, or do you want us to wait to discuss with everybody?"
Yes, we brought a few key members here to discuss this, and I point towards the Lehman Master and yeah, what's the second person we brought? We brought the Lehman Master and Mossbeard. Mossbeard is there. Yeah, that's right, right?
Yeah.
I point towards them, and of course Jayden.
All right. So she says, "All right, fair enough. So do you want us to sit anywhere in particular, or?"
I
It
was
doesn't really.
thinking
Okay, go
that
ahead.
I was thinking that me and Jayden, and maybe bring somebody else with us, would send an attack on the southeastern wall towards where the Lehman are from. That's right, then I.
She nods and she opens a map in her hands and she's looking at it. Where are the nearest tunnels? Would you want us to attack on the opposite side, or?
I think
Yeah,
that
that would be best if you attacked like the north or western side of.
So
in the tunnels.
she shows you the map, and she has it spread out like it's an underground map with the tunnels and everything. And
Yeah.
she says, "So, not sure." And she sort of orients it in the way that I have the main upper ground map, so that way
Yeah.
it sort of lines up with that. And let me see. The Lehman leader actually has a map of his own of the upper area of the main paths, and he spreads that out. So there is a path that leads to the east, and there's a sort of northern path, but it's more northwest. And there is a southern path. Otherwise, there aren't any paths directly on the top that lead out of here that would be within the range of the wall. So you could have people attack just not using a path. That's fine, but it shows where the paths are. And the rest is just forest. In the tunnels section, there's quite a few tunnels, and they snake all over the place, so they could pretty much attack in any direction that you wish them to.
Yeah.
So
I guess we'd go the southern way then. Or well, the plan was to get towards the Lehman jungle. That's the closest area of
you're talking
importance.
about the village?
Yeah.
The village that's on the world map, if I remember correctly. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys can. Okay. Let me just bring up the world map here. The Lehman do know of the place that you're talking about.
Oh, I thought it was the Lehman place.
No, that's the Tabaxi place.
Oh, okay.
That's a village that Snow was from.
Okay, then I misunderstood.
That's okay.
That's
the Lehman haven't revealed where they're from.
Okay.
Because they seem to want to keep that sort of stuff hidden.
And if like the Lehman, if you would bring some of your warriors and go another direction, and if Mossbeard would also take his scouts, some of my men and some of the doppelgangers, we could all attack in different directions.
Mossbeard is stroking his beard. He's actually seems like he's kind of proud of you at the moment, of your tactical knowledge. And he sort of points on the map and he says, well, there are only 3 main paths, but our scouts are pretty good at moving through foliage and such, so we could attack from here. And he points at a place between the let me see. You guys are trying to head. Where's that map? Where did I put the map? Is it? I forget where I put the world map. That's what I'm looking for at the moment. Yeah, it's not there. I'll just search my computer. It's under world map. Forget where I put it. Yep, here it is. I have to find the folder that it's in later. I can more easily access it. Yes, so that is the south. So that would, sorry, that wraps around. So that would be the east. Yeah, that would be the east. That village would be in the east. Yeah. So he points to a completely unpathed section in the west, and he says, "We could attack there." And he says, "If you're heading towards that village," and the village is marked on the map. He says, "Perhaps if you could get through the wall there, that would be useful to see if anyone survived. We could try to get them into our number. But I don't know. I didn't pass through there. I had a very mysterious journey here. I suppose I could say."
No.
So
But then you have your plan, and Lehman, where
the
would you
Lehman
prefer
say,
to?
"We don't really need paths either. So let me see. We're good with trees." He looks. We could attack. We could attack on the north. There is no true path that goes directly north. We could attack there. And then she says, so she's sort of tracing where tunnels would go that could potentially aid them, just in case they need some help, maybe. She's sort of figuring out paths that could lead to those two directions. And she says, so since we have east, west, and north covered, we could attack underground from the south. Is this acceptable?
And this is acceptable, indeed.
All right. So she sort of marks a little. She sort of writes a little thing on the map and she rolls it up. All right. Is there anything else you needed from us? And Mistress Adarin walks forward and says, "Did you need anything from us? We don't have a good fighting force, but we could aid some members of your camp, and if you need more guards."
It might
Okay.
be nice to have some guards, but a lot of our people are injured. If you could bring some supplies, we would eventually pay you back. But
What we could do is bring some of them down to our encampment if they're too injured. Our camp is fairly well fortified. It's hard to get into. There's only one entrance per se. There may be a few other holes, but we are working on blocking them up just in case some attacks happen down below. So there is only one main entrance. We could funnel them in from there in case they decide to ambush us.
That would
sure.
be appreciated.
Yeah.
Yes, your camp is nice for a refugee camp, but they can attack from all directions, so it may cause some confusion. If you want to bring everyone down there, we could work on that.
That's just
Did
for today.
you refer to everyone as in everyone, or everyone as in the injured?
Well, if you wish to bring everyone down, you can, but
I think we should
the
stay on
injured could come
ground.
down. It's up to you.
Yeah, just the injured. That would be great.
Yeah.
All right, we do have some supplies down there that they could work with as well, so that might be helpful. So she sort of is thinking of what to do. And someone you didn't notice that is also here is the ambassador guy.
No,
I forget his name. I have it written down. It's Montegor or something like that, if I remember correctly.
the elf.
Yes, the elf.
Montegor.
Yeah, I think it's Montegor. Yep, there it is, right there. It's right in front of me. and he says, I will swiftly notify them. And he just sort of turns around and he does his sort of like a quick run sort of thing, like with his arms behind him, sort of thing.
No.
And he goes down in there to try to get everybody situated. He goes down into there to get people to be ready. So Mistress Adaran, she says, I can go in there. Some people in there know me from us coming up in the night. I can get everything situated with getting everybody down if you wish.
Yeah, we'll have you let you be in charge of that.
All right. My fair skin isn't good with the sun, but I'll do my best. And she walks out, her flowy, bejeweled dress flowing behind her as she walks.
I have my old cloak, right? That would cover for sun. I'm just gonna throw it out there. You can use this.
Oh, you mean the cloak that you had before the
Yeah,
mantle? All right. Yeah.
it's just a dark cloak.
Yeah, you can throw her that. She just puts the hood up over her head and says, "Greatly appreciated," and she continues on. It is a little bit big on her because gnomes are a little bit smaller than halflings, but she's appreciative. So everybody seems to have their objectives at the moment. The only other thing, let me see.
It's time. We should put a time.
Yeah, Mr. Lady Darth was gonna say, any particular time of the day you want us to attack? Today, even?
How would at dusk be? Or at dawn? One of them.
It's you guys seem to have a lot more attacks scheduled for the top layer, so it would be more up to you. You would be the ones with the nighttime advantage or the daytime advantage, whichever it is you prefer. Down below, it's always dark, so.
What do you prefer, Jayden?
Yeah, I think maybe dawn or dusk. Either one is good with me.
All right.
Would we be able to reach it at dawn?
Let me see. If you went to sleep a tiny bit early, you would be able to.
Okay.
Because you usually wake up late morning, closer to afternoon, sort of thing.
So we'll say at dawn then.
She nods. Fine. We do have timepieces down below, so we will know when to attack.
Okay.
So
And Mossbeard and Lehman, are you okay with this?
Mossbeard is like, well, nighttime raid is always good, but early morning is also a thing.
No, not all of us can see very well in the dark, though.
He nods. Yes, I am aware of that. So, dawn it is. And the Lehman, he just sort of is just listening and he nods in agreement.
Yeah.
So, it seems like everybody in the room has been notified of the plan.
One more thing is last time that we attacked the wall, many monsters, after we destroyed a section, came running to us. The same thing might happen. So if you are able to get down a section of the wall, then I suggest a swift retreat right after. Right now we're just trying to learn more about what happens if we destroy more than one section.
The lady nods and says, "Yes, I was one of the military leaders on our campaign down below. We are very well aware of what happens when you destroy a section. Um, so we will be prepared with as much as we can. We aren't too keen on sacrificing too many of our soldiers, but we aren't afraid of death." And the other two, Mossbeard is well aware, of course, and the Lehman leader, he just sort of is listening again, and he nods.
Top priority is to stay safe.
All right. Anything else before I depart? The lady says.
Not from me.
Not for me.
All right. I will see you on the other side, I suppose, if we make it there. And she just walks into the down into the doorway.
Yeah.
And the other two are just sort of they're just sort of talking to each other to see if let me see. They actually are planning to go a little bit earlier than you guys to see if they can destroy some of it, so that way it lures some of the upper area enemies away from where you guys are going to try to attack. So that way you have time to explore in there to see if there's anything you can do on the other side.
Yeah.
So let's see. Yep, that is what their plan is. Their plan is to get up a little bit earlier than you guys to get everything to see if they can distract the hordes of enemies, so that way you have a little bit of time to do something. And they, of course, notify you of that.
No.
So they go to get their supplies ready.
Also,
So
I
do you
asked
Oh, go
Lehman,
ahead.
do you think
Okay.
that purple sled would be of any use with you?
He's actually intrigued by what you've said. He raises an eyebrow. Well, does seem to have very strong regenerative capabilities, but he's very, how do you say, untrained. He may be able to fight off some things, but I fear what happens if he gets captured.
Well, if you wish to use him, you may. I'll leave that up to you.
Thank you for bringing it up. I might not have thought of it. And he sort of walks off with his cane. He has a little gnarled staff, and he's using it to walk forward. And he leaves the room. And Mossbeard is already gone, unless if you wanted to say something to him.
No, that's fine.
Alrighty. So you have a few hours, quite a few hours left in the day if you want to do anything with them.
So, Jayden, who should we ask to come with us?
Let's see, we chose a path, right? We're going to be on a path.
Yeah. To the east, towards where snow came from.
Okay, if we're on a path, then I say we take Rock Thrower with us.
Alright.
Yeah.
You can notify him whenever you wish. I'll say that we can just play that out now. He's just sort of sitting there with the big jug of water, and he's still filling up some people's stuff from the other day when he went, and it's quite big, so he's filling their stuff up. And he sees you approaching, and he goes, "Oh, hello! Did you need me for something?
Tomorrow morning at dawn, we're going to attack the wall.
Oh, the big bad black?
Yeah,
Oh,
and we were wondering if you wanted to help us.
help. Yes, yes, I would like to help very much. And he sort of stands up.
Okay. So we'll get you when we're ready to go. Just be ready to fight, and just remember that we're gonna overall just try and be safe.
Yes, yes. And he detaches the two things that he was going to use for farming. Like, they look like two large sickles in his hands, but they can be used for tilling, and he's been doing that as well as gathering water. And he shows you how he wields them. So he's like dual wielding them.
Then I would like to relay what kind of happened last time. To be careful against the tentacles and watch out for them, as well as afterwards monsters will probably swarm us, and we would like to retreat at that point.
He nods. You got it. And he puts the stuff back on his backpack. So is there anybody else you would like to notify?
Not that I can think of.
Maybe since we keep our group small, we could still try and bring the necromancer, even though I don't want to touch him right now.
You can go up to the necromancer if you wish. He's just standing there. He's still looking over this person, and he's waving his hand over them. But as you, just before like you get close enough to him that he would notice you, he closes the book and he goes, and he sort of stuffs it in the side satchel. And when he sees you guys, he turns to you and says, "Well, this one's going to survive, unfortunately."
Yeah, well, maybe you can find someone else if you would like to come with us tomorrow. Or tonight, rather, because we're gonna attack the wall at dawn.
Well, if you wish, I could use part of my platoon, I suppose you could say, to help you out.
Sure.
That would be nice.
He sort of motions. You notice that some of the undead are just sort of standing at certain positions around the camp. They sort of seem limp, some of them. Some of them are sort of standing up straight. You could almost not even tell that they're undead just by looking at them, because he's been sculpting material, I suppose, to make them look nicer. So you notice them at different points, patrolling, sort of keeping an eye out, while some of the other people get rests and those sorts of things. So he says, "Well, we'll see you then, I suppose."
Yes.
He nods, and he turns over to somebody else who seems to be unconscious at the moment, and he's waving his hand. He takes out his book again and he waves his hand over them. Seems like he's seeing if they're soon to be dead to harvest them. Seems like that's what he's doing.
So you have anyone else, Jayden, or are we good?
There's one thing I would like to do, is go over to the mouse hole.
Okay.
All right, you can definitely do that.
Call for the leader, see if they come out.
All right, you bend down and you sort of call into it. And do you still have that mouse in the cage on the outside, or did you let him go?
He let him go.
Yeah,
I'm sure he let him go.
Yeah, afterwards I let him go.
It wouldn't be dead in a cage.
All right. Well, the cage is still sitting next to the hole, and you hear some meep, 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 meep within the hole. And after about 2, 3, 4 minutes, you hear some movement within that is getting closer, and you see the old, haggard-looking mouse that he has sort of like a little dangly hairs that look almost like a mustache, and he is missing one of his back legs, and he hobbles out, and he looks up at you.
I'm gonna say, I'd like to figure out what spell you're under. If you just hop onto my hand, I think I can figure it out.
He steps forward, and if you offer your hand, he'll step onto it.
Yeah. Then I'll use identify.
Yep, you can definitely do that since we found out that you can find out if they're under a spell of some sort. Let me see. Okay, so it's not a common spell that you could just say it's this spell that is commonly cast on people. It seems to be the spell doesn't have a specific name either, but it seems to be like some sort of it's like you know how lycanthropy is sort of like a curse that's brought upon people. Well, it's sort of like one of those large overarching spells that seems to be afflicting them. So someone very powerful or a god or something like that may have caused them to be like this for a reason. But it is a curse. So if you have some way of curing a curse, or you find some way of curing a curse, then you can cure them of it. Possible.
So I'll kind of just relay that to the mouse and say that I'll continue looking for something for a way.
He just sort of lowers his head and squints his eyes a little bit, and he seems sort of saddened by something that you may or may not have said, and he just sits there unless if you let him down to leave.
Yeah, I'll let him down.
All right, he just scampers off, and actually what he's going to do is he's going to go to that stick that is still there, and he picks it up and he writes in common in the dirt, thank you.
Mm.
And then he places the stick back. And he goes back in the hole unless if you have anything else to say to him.
Nope.
Right? He just scampers back into the hole. So anything else that you guys can think of at the moment?
Nope. I think I'm good.
No.
All right.
I'm good too.
So something is going to happen first before we just say that you go to sleep or anything. You notice that Ndaro is awake, and he seems to be flipping through his spell book. And as you guys go over to the area, for one reason or another, maybe to have something to eat, maybe to sit down to rest or something, you're both there. He seems to be looking through his spell book, and he's intently staring at the last page in his spell book at the moment.
So, Indaro, are you gonna come with us tomorrow? We're gonna go attack the wall again.
He I almost went to screensaver. He looks at you and he says, Well, something's been bothering me about this spell. I had a strange dream last night.
So did we. Were you a ghost?
Well, I wasn't a ghost, but I met a woman. It was the woman from the attack. She said something about my spell book, and ever since I got here, I have had this spell in the back of my spell book that I don't know what it is, and she said that there was something in my spell book, so I'm just sort of trying to figure out what this means. He continues staring at it. He seems to, and you notice that his eyes seem to be covered in some sort of magic. He might be using a spell to try to decode it or something. You're not sure. You've seen him before, like decode languages and stuff with magic, so he seems to be using maybe that spell, trying to decode it.
Well, we're going early if you're gonna join us.
He nods. I would like to join you if I can. I'd like to try to figure this out.
Okay. We'll leave you to that.
The notes are very strange. I can't believe that I would have written this. It's not even my type of ink. And if you look at the page, it's really sparkly calligraphy sort of written, and you know that Indaro's just more practical and he just writes things normal, like with regular printing letters sort of thing. So it's easier to read, but this is much harder to read based on the writing, and it seems to be in a language that you either don't understand or a code or something like that. It's incomprehensible to you just looking at it. So he's just examining it, and he has the magic over his eyes. Like it's sort of like slightly differently colored, but it's not like a specific coloration. But you can tell that it's a spell over his eyes that he's using to read this.
Oh. Come get us if you wanna attack with us.
Well, if you're leaving from here, I'll probably notice. But I'll spend a little bit longer trying to figure this out.
Okay.
Yep, so that happens. Unless you have anything else you want to say to him, he doesn't really seem too talkative.
Not really.
Alright. Okay, so, let me see. Yeah, you notice during the day that Fizzleboom and Geodor both go down with the injured people. There's nothing else too important that seems to be on the agenda, so we'll move forward to the end of the day. And I'll say that throughout the day that you're just helping with random tasks, like Jayden, you're helping Rock Thrower, guiding him like to till the land, that sort of thing. I'll just say that those are some of the littler things that you're doing. And Howler, you're sort of checking in with all your underlings to make sure that they're in top shape. Most of them are going to stay behind to guard the camp to make sure that nobody gets since you're making a massive scale attack, they think that maybe something will come through and try to get towards the camp maybe, so they're sort of getting everything ready for that. And we'll say that that's what you two are doing, other than because it's quite a few hours that you had left in the day, so I'll just let you guys do that. Do those more minor things to get things ready. Okay, so it's the end of the day. You get your long rest and you wake up. Nothing interrupted you during your long rest.
So I guess I'll get ready to go then.
Yeah.
Is Indaro awake?
Yes, he is awake, but the reason that you guys woke up actually is because he was sort of trying to be covert about it, but he's Indaro. He's not a rogue or anything like that. So you hear him sort of like fidgeting around with some of his supplies, and that's what woke you guys up. It's a little bit before dawn, and you notice that some of the other hunting parties, we'll call them at the moment, they're actually actively leaving. And you see Indaro, he's got a pack packed up, and sort of like what you guys would have gotten ready to go on a long journey, maybe. Like if you manage to get behind the wall and get through, you guys sort of planned ahead just in case you manage to get through, so you have some supplies. That way you can travel. So he has that ready, and what woke you up specifically is that he put the backpack on, and he seems to be leaving ahead of you guys.
Yeah, okay. So I'm just gonna grab my stuff quickly. It shouldn't take too long.
Yeah, you do have a backpack with some rations and those sorts of things in them, but we'll say that it doesn't really encumber you or anything like that, so we won't worry about that. So you have your travel packs with you and your other equipment. They aren't too far away.
Yeah.
You got them ready the day before. But
So I
Indaro
guess
seems to
we'll
be
go and
leaving
get.
ahead of you, so
Where are you going? Before he
he turns
leaves.
around and says, I have a gut feeling about something. You can follow me if you
Okay.
wish, but if you want to go through with your plan, you might want to get started on that.
Probably should that. So
Yeah, perhaps I'll see you there, but I have a gut feeling about something. And he continues on.
we'll go get the other two then. Are you ready, Jayden?
Yep, I'm ready.
Alright, so it's still a bit dark out. The sun is just barely cresting over. So it's like the pinks and oranges are in the sky, but it's still a bit dark. It's not bright light. So some people still have torches on to see better, those sorts of things. But you can still vaguely see, but if you want to look at things in detail, you might need a light or those sorts of things. But you can still see. The other two that you wish to bring, the necromancer, he's just sort of sitting in like a meditative position with his legs crossed, and he's just sort of sitting there and with his eyes closed. So you just walk up and sort of notify him of your presence, and he just sort of says, "I'm ready when you are." And he just sort of gets out of his position, and he stands up. And Rockthrower is his jubilant self, even this early in the morning. And he seems ready and around to go. Even though you guys might be like a little bit off because it's a little bit earlier you're getting up than you're used to. So he seems almost irritatingly joyful that he's going to get to try to fight back against this stuff that's been making him so sad for so long. So they are with you. So you guys go down the path to the east.
I ask Rockthrow if I can sit on his shoulder.
Oh, he perks up even more than he was before, and he says, "Oh, sure, little buddy," and he offers out his hand. And his hand, you could stand on it, and it's like a platform almost. So he offers out his hand for you to stand on.
Yeah, I'll do it.
And he just sort of lifts you up, and you almost lose balance for a couple seconds, but you're pretty dexterous. And he just sort of like dumps you onto his shoulder like this, and you don't need to make a dex save or anything. You just manage to just land on his shoulder. You feel like a small doll almost compared to him. He's so big compared to you. And he'll take you along.
No.
He doesn't mind. So, let me see. So you're in the middle of the woods. I'll get you guys to make a perception check at this point.
with height advantage.
Yeah, I'll give you advantage. Sure, that's no problem.
Nice.
Because Jayden isn't seeing anything. And I'll roll 2d20s here for them.
Oh, nice.
The first one is the necromancer. He doesn't really notice too much, but since both of you are a lot higher up, you're not above the canopy or anything. The trees are higher than him. So you guys are looking around, and you notice that. Let me see. You notice that there are a few animals, some of which look kind of familiar. Some are wolves. But some you haven't seen before, but you know what animals they are, like deer and those sorts of things are sort of passing by you as you're walking. But the wolves in particular, they seem to be following close by. There are a few more recognizable creatures that seem to be following close by to you for some reason. Some spiders are crawling across the ground, and some ettercaps. They seem to be following you for some reason. And you don't see any other ones of note, but they seem to be following you. And Rockthrower points them out to everybody else. Oh, look! Tiny squishies!
Do they look hostile?
They seem to be following beside you, not coming towards you. Which if they were going to attack, they might run in front of you and stop you from moving or those sorts of things. They seem to be following beside you.
I'm just gonna sit on the other side, so I sit backwards.
All right.
While we keep moving.
All right. He doesn't mind. He's just focusing on these little creatures that are following you guys. Let me see. Yeah. So Rockthrower, he says that they look familiar, but if Jayden looks at them, they seem to be the exact same creatures that you've encountered before. The ettercaps and the spiders seem to be the ones from the trap that you didn't kill, and the wolves seem to be the ones that you helped get food. So
Okay.
the wolves seem to be fully recovered, and the ettercaps and spiders seem to be pretty healthy. And they seem to be following you too. You're not sure why they are, but they are. So unless if you have anything you wish to react on that, we'll move forward.
Just keep an eye out.
Yeah, I'm sitting the wrong way, so I'm just watching them.
Alright, fair enough, that's fine. So for the next little while, I'll get you to make perception checks. Just one more for now, since you're specifically keeping an eye on them. Alright. So Howler, you notice that there seems to be some other animals that seem to be following, but at a further distance away, and they're following in the direction that you're going. But they don't seem to be approaching you or getting any closer.
I don't notice any size or anything.
The creatures, some of them look like deer, elk, those sorts of things.
Okay.
Some of them are smaller, surprisingly, like rabbits and those sorts of things are even following. You're not sure why, but they are. Seems like a parade of animals is following you.
Yep.
Alright, so unless if you have anything you wish to react on that, we'll move forward a little bit more. So you're about at 100 feet from the wall. So you can see it from a distance. I'll say that nothing over there would have noticed you yet. The animals, they stop as soon as you stop at about 100 feet away. And you notice that there seems to be patrols of animals, like you see 2 or 3 bears in the section in front of you, and 2 or 3 wolves, and you see a few humanoid-looking things. But they seem to be walking away from you at the moment, or some of them do at least. The bears seem to be stationary, like looking, but the other ones seem to be walking away. Perhaps some of the distractions that you've laid out have drawn some of them in the directions towards where they are. Perhaps something else is happening, you're not sure.
So they're leaving this area.
Most of them are, but a few of them are staying, like a few bears are just standing guard. And there seems to be a humanoid that is standing just with the bears. But there is a larger group, but they seem to be moving away at the moment. The larger group, but the 3 that I mentioned are staying still.
So I'll just tell Rocktroller to be quiet and sit down.
Right. So Rock Thrower just sits down, and he seems to be being kind of stealthy. Let me see.
Crit fail.
He got a 4, so he doesn't have much dex, so he's not very quiet, but you can see that he's trying his best.
Yeah.
But you're still quite a ways away, so they don't seem to notice you at the moment.
And I try to tell everyone that we should wait for the patrol to pass. And I'll try and look for any animals that wander from the pack, if anyone is alone.
Alright, well, there is the larger group after about 2 or 3 minutes passes. And the only ones that are left in this little section are the 2 bears and a humanoid of some sort.
Okay.
They're all 3 of them are covered in shadow, like they're shadow creatures, so obviously they're guarding this particular section. But the other patrol just walked past.
So, Jayden, I think I could take down that humanoid if I get the first shot. But I'm gonna need some help with the bears.
Yeah, I think me and Rock Thrower will stay in front and confront them. I'll hit them from range as long as I can. When they get closer, then let's
Maybe
try
let
and take
me
them down.
get the first shot, and we can see how that does.
Okay,
I can run back.
sounds
You
good.
can see the necromancer he seems to be doing strange hand motions, and the undead seem to be spreading out a little bit. He has like 5 or 6 of them. Yeah, I'll say 6, just so that way it's more even. And he has 3 on the left and 3 on the right side of the path, probably to do a pincer to come in on both sides.
No.
So that's seems to be his idea.
So is everyone ready? I'm gonna move ahead then before you go.
Okay, lure them back.
Alright, let me see. I have an exact map for this. This doesn't need an exact map exactly, so you guys move a little bit forward. If you get within 50 feet, or if you get within 50 feet, you'll need to make a stealth check, but
I'm gonna move. Wait, what's the range? That is. I'm gonna try and move within 30 feet.
okay, so if you're moving within 30 feet, then you'll need to make a stealth check, but everybody else who is staying further back will not need to make one.
Does a 25
Yeah,
work?
you're fine. You're fine. I'll just say that for sure, that you're fine. You're staying hidden within the foliage. It's still kind of dark out, so the shadows are easily bending to you with your new cloak.
The dose of sleeping was 2d8 to fall asleep, right?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. Because I'm
you
gonna.
should have it. You should
Yeah,
have it written down, though.
It's dose of sleeping, and I'm gonna use it on my hand crossbow.
Sure thing. So the humanoid, it doesn't notice you. It just seems to be looking down the main path, and you're sort of on the side, so it's just sort of looking ahead.
Since it's surprised, it should be a crit, but I rolled a crit anyway.
Yeah, that's fine.
And sneak attack, that's doubled. So that's 8 doubled, and
See.
26.
I'm pretty sure it was 2d6 we agreed on. So that's 6 sleep damage to fall asleep. And it's 16, 26 piercing damage and 6 sleep damage.
Alright. So 26, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Just put it in a calculator to make sure I don't forget. Alright. So it's still standing, surprisingly.
Okay.
It sinks into the side of its shoulder and it sort of looks around to try to find you, but you are still currently stealthed. So
Don't I lose that when I shoot? Or I can make a new roll. Like I have my bonus action to hide, so I can make.
Yeah, I figured that's what you were gonna do.
Yeah.
So you can attempt to re-hide to make sure that. All right, let's see. Roll the d20, even with its additions there, it's no good. Just a second here. Oh, Ian's messaging me. If he, let me see. Oh, he's just telling me stuff. Anyway, let me see. So the creature is going to attempt to look for you, as I was saying. Sorry about that. It was 13. Yeah, that's not. Wait. Perception is plus.
Is it +7 or higher?
No, it's not +7. So
Then I'm good.
it doesn't see you. But something strange happens when I'm not sure how I should go about describing this. You see that it has a tail in the back, and it looks almost like a stereotypically pointed tail for like a devil or demon or something, maybe. And it unfurls some wings, and let me see, how am I going to describe this part? From between where its legs should be, between its legs, a large something seems to be growing out of it. And then it grabs onto it and detaches it, and it looks almost like a pointed blade of some sort. And it holds it in its hand, and then it seems to adapt feminine features, which before it had male features. And it gets into a sort of fighting stance, and it's looking around. You can see its eyes are white, and the two bears begin to start sniffing. Let me just.
Yeah, they have advantage.
Yeah, they have advantage because of smell. So.
Do
Just
keep
roll
in mind, I
twice.
did take a shower today, so.
Yeah. So that bear didn't. And that bear didn't either. So the bears seem to be sniffing, looking for you, but they are walking closer to you.
Okay.
And the humanoid is also walking down the path with this large, curved instrument that it seems to be carrying.
So I guess initiative, or are anyone else gonna?
We can start initiative now. I suppose it would be easier that way. Just so that way I can check in with everybody. I gotta clear the initiative though before everybody.
Yeah, I got a 22.
Remove. I can add your token, I think, and then put 22 as the value, I think.
No, it's fine.
Well, that's fine. If you're fine with that new one. So let me see. Oh, I wish I could just add numbers in, but that's fine. I'll just roll some d20s, and I'll give you the number that they're supposed to have. So this is for this creature. They don't have a plus on initiative, so it will be plus their dex, which is 3, so 14 plus 3, which is 17, I think. So 17 is that one's initiative.
What was
So
it? What was the
17,
creature?
the creature.
No.
The humanoid-looking creature. So that's 17, and for the bears, I think they have bear. Let's see if there's a separate stat. If there's no separate stat, then it's just the regular stuff. So it should just be the regular stuff then, it looks like. Yeah. It's just their regular stats. They have +3 on perception, but that didn't help them at all. Yeah, so it's just the number. They get 15. So 17 and 15. So they go in between you two. So Jayden, you see them sort of approaching. The bears seem to be trying to sniff them out. Or sniff out whatever it was that just attacked the humanoid.
Okay, I'm going to hit one of the bears with a firebolt, or try to.
Alright, go ahead.
Hmm.
I forgot to write down.
I mean, they're bears. You might
Yeah.
Yeah,
hit.
they are bears, but I'll just double check. Yeah, they don't have much, so you hit him.
Okay. 4 damage.
Alright, yeah, it's still up. I'll just...
Yeah.
Yes.
Bears are usually pretty healthy.
Yep, so it gets damaged, and it's going to attempt to find you again, since that's probably your full turn, unless you want to move closer.
I'll move kind of a little bit closer, just so I'm keeping.
You're not going to use
far.
your bonus act, or you can't, right? So you're just going to use your full movement or half your movement.
Just like a quarter movement.
Okay, so that's just a little bit closer then.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine. And that's your turn?
Yep.
Okay. So they are going to attempt to find what's hitting them. Because you're still quite far away. So they have +3 and they get advantage. Well, that didn't help for him. So 16. You're not hiding, so it sees you. The first bear. Let's see if the second bear sees you. Oh, yeah, he definitely sees you. So, second bear.
Sees everything.
They both see you and they start charging down the middle of the path, but they can't reach you because you're still quite far away.
Okay.
But they don't notice anybody in the bushes because they were looking specifically for the source of the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
they found him. So they can't, with double move, they can't reach you, but they are full on charge towards you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. We'll throw the other NPCs at the bottom. That'll just make it easier.
Yeah, that's fine.
So then the humanoid is going in between both of you. So he is going to attempt to find where the source of the bolt was. He has +5 to perception. So he manages to sniff you out. He is going to come towards you. So he flaps his wings and comes towards you, because that's the only way he's going to be able to get to you fast enough. And he flaps his wings, or she at this point, because she appears feminine. And he's going to attempt to stab you. Let me see. Melee attack +5 to hit. So 20.
That hits.
It's not hitting you.
Sorry.
Yeah, that still hits.
All right. So blah blah blah. So it's 1d6 +3 +3 for damage. So you take 6 damage.
Yep.
And I'm going to need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. You feel as though something got injected into your arm as it stabbed you, but it sort of spilt onto the ground, whatever it was.
Would I assume it's poison?
Give me a nature check. I'll allow you to do this since it just happened. You're not sure, but it appeared to be viscous and white in color.
Okay.
Might be a poison, but it's not a poison that you've seen before. If it is. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so then we'll move down to Howler since you just got attacked by this thing. It just sort of flew up towards you and stabbed you with this implement that grew out of its groin.
Does a 19 hit?
Let me see. Yep.
So that's 16 damage.
Alright. We'll add that to their total. Alright. It's still up. And it's not too happy that you're stabbing it now. And it grins and says, "Die."
Yeah, you're about to.
Alright. So then we'll move on to the other two. The Necromancer had his zombies move pretty close, but they're just getting to the bears at this point, since you sort of, or Howler sort of implied that he had the humanoid on lockdown. So the zombies are heading towards that. Let's see if they hit. Without the +3. That zombie misses. That zombie definitely misses. That zombie misses. Okay, so that's on the first bear. Second bear, zombie hits the bear. Let me see. I think they have d6 damage. So he does 1 damage. These particular zombies are d6, so it does 1 damage. Second zombie misses, and that one hits. So d6 for another 1 damage. So it did 2 damage to the bear that wasn't damaged before. But at least they are now harrying they are in its space, so you might be reluctant to run from them. And let me see. For Rock Thrower, we'll get the 2 scythes. So he gets to attack twice. His scythes. Don't think that hits. Just double check. I should have had this stuff marked, but I don't. Okay. S T. There we go. So he gets +7 to hit. So that would hit the bears for sure. And he uses both of his scythes, which are twice as. Okay, so he gets 2d6 plus 8. That bear is down, the first bear that Jayden injured. And for the second bear, whoops, that's damage. D20. But I'll use that if he hits. Whoops, not +8. So, but that still hits. So he takes down the second bear. Because he has really powerful scythes. So the bears are down. Okay, so all that's left standing is the humanoid. And it's Jayden's turn. So both bears are down. They are currently fizzling. It looks like they might be released soon.
Okay, I'm gonna go. How far is the dark figure?
He's still within your 120-foot range if you're going to use that, but
So I'll go over, get closer, and I'll use my movement, and then I'll shoot firebolt.
Sure thing. That I think they have 16. I'll just double check. Oops, wrong way. Yeah, they have. No, they have 15. So it just barely misses.
Okay.
So he missed that attack. Okay, so you used your movement. How much of your movement did you want to use? All the way?
All the way.
Sorry?
All the way.
Okay, all your
Trying to
movement.
get closer.
Okay, so you're pretty close, relatively. If you move maybe 1 or 2 more times, you'll be there. 1.5 more times, technically. So, that's it for that. The humanoid, still displeased, he's going to use his attack. It's +5, I think. Yeah. So he's going to hit Howler again.
Yeah, how much?
So for 20.
Yeah, but how much damage?
Oh, damage? He didn't roll damage yet. So it was d6 +3. So he hits you for 6 damage again, and
Yep.
he is going to try to, he's using another thing, so Constitution saving throw.
And I'm gonna reroll that with luck.
Alrighty. Yep, you pass the saving throw, and some more white gunk comes out of the wound, not affecting you, fortunately. And that is her turn. So then we'll back down to Howler.
Yep, I'm gonna use my attacks.
Sure thing.
I'm gonna reroll the 12.
Go ahead. Yep, those both hit. Alright, so 16 damage.
Yeah.
Right. Yep, it's still standing, and it's still not very happy. So you stabbed it a few times, and it's back into its fighting position. But it's still like a few feet in the air, but you're still able to reach him, to hit him.
Is it looking rough?
It's not doing too good, I'll say that much.
Okay.
It's got black inky goo dripping off of it. So it's not doing too good. So we're back to the NPCs. They currently have nothing to attack, and they have to move closer, so they are en route. Now we're back to Jayden.
Okay, I'm going to use the dash action.
Sure thing.
Get out to
You're
oh.
right. You think that if you were to move again, you would be like in melee with it.
Okay.
So you can attack it with a distance attack if you want to.
Doesn't dash take up an action?
Oh yes.
Yeah, unless you're a rogue, pretty much, or a monk. Monks can do it for key.
So I can't really do an attack then.
All right.
That's
So
my turn.
all right. You think that if you took a few more steps, you would be within melee range of it. Okay, so that's Jayden. So then it's back to my friend. So he's still going to try to. Actually, this time he is going to, or she. Keep forgetting that I changed its appearance. She is going to. She approaches you and sort of. This is part of the attack. She sort of reaches out to try to touch your face, and let me see. You have to make a wisdom saving throw.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah. 18.
Wow. Yeah, you feel like something they're trying to affect your mind in some way, and unfortunately it does not work.
Fortunately, it does not work, I would rather say.
Yeah, for you. So for it, though, let me see. Yeah, it can't do anything else. Actually, it can. Since it sees that it does what it tried to do didn't work, uh, it its form begins to shimmer and it vanishes. You can no longer see it.
Okay.
You're not sure what happened, but it is no longer visible. So now it is your turn. Howler's turn.
So I would still get an attack of opportunity if it left my attack range, would I not? Or
It didn't leave your attack range.
okay. I'm gonna swing at disadvantage then, I guess.
Alright, go ahead.
Is Jayden there next to it?
He's not next to it yet.
Okay, then it's disadvantage.
Alright, those both. You swing where it was, and you don't come into purchase with anything.
Yep. That's my turn.
Alrighty. So we'll move back to the others. They're still en route, unfortunately. So now we're back to Jayden.
Okay. I will use Burning Hands
Alright.
At the location that it was.
Roll for damage. And dex save.
Yeah, dexterity save of, well, I think 12.
Yeah, it says 0 there. And I
Yeah.
was gonna say I can make that easily, but so yeah, d20. It doesn't dodge out of the way, but you don't see anything catch fire either.
Okay.
So you don't see any fire catch onto anything.
Okay.
What's your int modifier?
0.
Then it should be DC 10.
Yeah, that'd be decent. DC 10.
Alrighty. Well, it didn't succeed still, and it still didn't. The flames don't seem to be purchased on anything.
So there's nothing there?
It appears like nothing is there.
Huh.
But unfortunately, it isn't your turn anymore. So, it is going to reappear behind Howler, and this time it is going to attempt to. Actually, it's not going to do that. It's going to attack or go towards Jayden, and it's going to come back from. It's going to become visible again, and it's going to attempt to touch his face. And same thing, wisdom saving throw. Well, it does not. It does not do that. You feel it attempting to do something with your mind, but you're just too focused on killing it, and it won't. It doesn't allow it to do what it's trying to do. So it is now visible again, and that's its turn. So then we're back to Howler.
Then I can reach it, right?
You can easily get up to it, and it's right in front of Jayden, so you get those benefits.
So I'm gonna attack him twice then.
All right. Those both hit. All right.
27.
27, you said? 27. Yeah. This time when you stab into it, it gets gutted a little bit, and a part of it slices open a little bit on its gut, and it sort of just falls down onto one knee, and then it says, "You'll never defeat us." And it falls down to the ground. And at this point, I'll say that the bears that you killed earlier are free, and they are beginning to retreat into the woods. Let me see here. And the humanoid that you were attacking, if you wait a couple seconds, you don't have to. If you want to use your...
I would like to try and identify it before it wakes up.
All right. You can't really... it might not be in its original form at this point because it's still covered in the shadow, so you can identify it if you wish, or attempt to with a nature.
Disadvantage?
Just regularly.
Okay.
I'll say. Anybody who wants to identify it can roll nature. Does Jayden wish to roll nature? Yeah, Jayden has no idea what this thing could be. You think, Howler, from the way it was changing forms like that, from male to female and those sorts of things, this may have been an incubus or succubus. They can change their sex on the fly. The thing from its groin may have been a weapon that it uses to impregnate people with its demon spawn. So if you would have failed that Constitution save, you figure that maybe you would have been impregnated. Even though you're male, it still impregnates you.
Okay.
So that may have been a bad situation. But it is currently on the ground, and the stuff is fizzling off of it.
Yeah, so
You're not sure if that's what its native form was, but
should we just leave it there and move on?
Yeah, I'm gonna check out Howler's wounds and treat him.
yeah, he has like it looks almost like he was being stabbed by a large metal horn, almost that was sharp at the end. So it's quite a wide wounds that it would leave, like this. So
Right.
that's what they look like.
So you restore 1d6 plus 4 plus 4.
Should you roll or me?
I don't know.
It doesn't truly matter, so whoever wants to. Usually the person doing the action rolls, but
Yeah, that's fine. You can roll.
So 1 plus 8, so 9.
9.
Yep.
Well, that's better than nothing, I suppose. So you manage to patch up one of his gaping wounds.
And some of the other.
A little bit.
I'm missing 3, so.
Yeah, so you manage to bandage him up. You're still feeling the pain, which is most of what the problem is. So you're bandaged up, but you're still hurting.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, do you wish to wait for the creature to recover? Because you still have a little bit to wait before it recovers.
How long would that be? Or we would have no
2
idea.
or 3
Well,
turns.
considering the bears just woke up, then I guess we could
Yeah, it's
wait.
2 or 3 turns.
Yeah.
More. Okay, so the others, the undead, approach you, and the large troll approaches, and the troll says, "I attack wall now."
We'll wait for just
Yes.
a little bit.
He
I
I would
says
like to talk with this thing.
he listens to what Howler originally said and he said yes, attack it. So he's just gung ho and he's going after it. So he appears to be swinging and hacking away at it at the moment.
I'll probably go to it then.
Okay, you can attempt to get up beside him there.
I'll just stay behind a bit.
All right, that's fine. Right when Jayden gets to the wall is when the creature recovers. So we'll start with that. Actually, we'll start with Jayden since he's the top of the initiative order.
Okay.
So you attack the wall, I assume?
Yep.
All right. Swing. Yep, that hits it's a giant wall.
5 damage.
All right. I'll just erase this. So 5, and I'll say that what's his name did a little bit of damage to it, so I'll add that damage. Okay, so the creature is now recovering in front of you, Howler, and it appears to be a winged creature of some sort. It appears humanoid, and it has little tiny horns on the top of its head, little tiny ones, and it has a large pointed devil-looking tail, and it appears to be unconscious at the moment.
So it was waking up, right?
Yeah, it's in the process of waking up at this point, but it's still not like it doesn't have any. It's not fully awake, so it has no defenses against you if you wanted to just end its life or what have you.
Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna help it back on its feet when it wakes up.
all right, sure thing. You can it's in the process of it, so on your turn you can help it back up if you wish.
Yeah.
All right, so it's sort of dizzy, and it puts its hand to its head. So for the moment, that's what happens. It doesn't respond yet. So we'll go to our friends here. We'll just say that I don't think it's even possible for a troll to miss this wall. Just double check.
Crit fail. It's always possible.
Yeah, it has +7 to hit, and they have an AC of 8. So
Crit fails
technically, if it
always
crit
miss.
failed, it would still hit. But I'll see if it crit fails anyway. And no, so he doesn't crit fail, so he still hits it. I'll just add his damage. I'll just do average damage for him. Be a bit easier. So he did his damage, and the undead are currently approaching. The necromancer isn't there, though. He seems to be at a distance. You can see him down the path. So he didn't like abandon you or anything. He's just watching from a distance. Since he doesn't have to get close. His minions are doing his work for him. So the minions are approaching the wall, but they're not fast enough to get there. So they don't get an attack this turn. So Jayden.
Okay. Attack again.
That definitely hits.
6 damage.
Alright, so add 6. Alrighty, that's your turn, I assume?
Yep.
Alrighty, so then we move on to the creature. The creature recovers a little bit, and you notice that in its hand it's holding a metallic device of some sort that looks kind of phallic in its hand, and it's sort of just trying to recover. It seems like this is its weapon, though. And it speaks to you and says, Where am I?
Well, you probably won't remember much, but we can explain to you later. And hi, I'm Howler. First time meeting a succubus.
She looks down at you and says, Odd circumstances, and shakes your hand.
We'll explain later, but if you want to stick around, that's your best bet of survival.
I suppose so. And she turns around and sees this large wall with a tentacle on top that seems to be getting ready for an attack, and she says, I'll aid you as best I can. Perhaps we'll make a deal later. And she flaps her wings and flies up towards the tentacle in the air. She seems like she's going to try to distract the tentacle so that way it doesn't attack you guys.
No.
So she has a 60-foot flying speed, so she's up in the air 60 feet. And that's her turn. Actually, she'll double move, so she moves 120 feet up. So she's near where she's right in front of the tentacle, harrying it. So if it moves out of her space, she would get an attack.
Do I still have my action?
Yeah, it's your turn now. So that was her.
I'm just gonna shoot at the tentacle. It would be a disadvantage because it's far away.
Yep, that's true. So go ahead. 11 hits because it's huge. So. Alright, for 5. And that's your turn. Unless you want to move closer, but you're a rogue, so I assume you don't want to do that.
Yeah, I can just move closer because the
Alright.
monster is looking out anyway.
Right. So then so we'll say for troll, yeah, he definitely hits. Get this out of here. So he is going to do average damage. I'll just say that he does average damage. make this a little bit easier. Alright, so it's back up to Jayden. The walls, it seems like there's a huge carving of a hole in it, but it's not dead yet.
Okay, I'll look out. Do I see any tentacles coming down?
The tentacles that are nearby, they seem like they are getting ready for an attack, but they are reeling back to slam down. So they aren't attacking as of yet. Maybe one or two more turns, and they'll swing down at you. But
okay, I'll just send
you're
that
good for
warning
now.
to the people around me.
All right,
And
fair enough.
then attack.
Sure thing. Critical hit.
9.
Right. So 6, 7, 8, 9. Right. So that's your turn.
Yep.
Alrighty. So let me see here. The succubus is up in the air, and let me see. It's gonna swing with its phallic horn. So I don't think it has much of a chance of missing either. But there's still a minute chance. And that's just barely the threshold for it to miss. So it misses, swings at it, but the phallic horn, it doesn't make any purchase on the tentacle itself. Alright, so that's its turn. Unfortunately, it only gets one attack per turn.
It just woke up. We forgive it.
Yeah. But it is keeping the tentacle up there distracted, so hopefully it won't come down on you anytime soon. So we'll move on to Howler.
Yeah, I guess I will get close enough. So for the wall.
Sure thing. You can
And
easily do
my
that.
team is next to it, so
Yep, sure thing. Yep, those both hit, so do damage with them.
23.
23. Let me see how much. Alright, it's getting pretty weak here. So it looks like the tentacle on top is sort of spasming and faltering. Alright, so that's its turn. Or that's your turn, technically.
Oh.
So now it's your ally's turn. The undead are going to attempt to attack, and they have a much higher chance of missing, but let's see. Critical hit, miss, and a critical hit, and a hit. So that's...
You're missing one, I think.
Yeah, one more. And a critical hit. So they're doing a lot better this time. So I'll just take their average and double it 3 times, I think. Yeah. They hit every single time this time. Or no, they missed once. So that's 5 attacks, 3 of which are doubled. Okay, so that's 2. Alright. And then the troll gets a hit, or 2, technically. And those both hit, so we'll average damage again. Alright, it's almost like you feel like you're almost through to the other side, if you would imagine. Like you remember approximately how thick it is, and the hole is getting big enough that you're thinking that you're almost through to the other side. So Jayden's turn.
I'm gonna take out the not the silver orb, but the other one,
Sure.
and try and channel firebolt through it to see what happens.
Alright, so before you channel firebolt through it, you take out the orb and you notice that it is glowing. And let me see. And when it's glowing, you sort of get this instinct that maybe you should put it closer to the wall. And as it does, it reveals like it sort of like in a spherical radius. It moves the black shadow inkiness out of the way. Within a small spherical radius around the orb itself.
About how big?
Let me see. So the orb is about 2 or 3 feet out from it,
Okay.
approximately. So you can, now that you have this discovery, I'll allow you to take an action.
Okay. Can I not channel firebolt through it, or can I try?
You can still try if you wish.
Yeah, I'll try it.
Alright, so as you do, the orb begins to glow brighter, and when you put it closer to the black inkiness, it begins to burn. Let me see. I'm gonna roll you some damage. It does 11 damage. And a hole develops through the wall as this happens, and you hear a strange screeching noise. Let me see. Plus 11. Yeah. So there is a large hole through it now, big enough for perhaps you and Howler and maybe a few of the undead to fit through, but not big enough for, say, the giant.
Okay.
So you still have your movement, if you wish to move through it.
I'll stay here for now.
Alrighty. So it's the succubus's turn. It's going to try to hit that stupid thing again. Because it just barely managed to dodge last time. Critical. Okay, so we'll take average for that. What doubled? There. It's still up, but it's reeling from that last attack. And I'll get it to make a Constitution saving throw. Why not? Wow. So it's fine.
The giant tentacle gets impregnated.
It does have other effects, though. So it's not just getting impregnated. So that's that. So let me see here. We're back up to Howler.
Yep. So I'm gonna keep killing the wall.
Sure thing. Okay. Those both hit for sure.
And the sneak attack would be doubled.
Alright. So plus
24 total should it be.
Alright, there we go. It is still up, but seems as though this one's a lot tougher than the one that you faced last time, Perhaps they reinforced it somehow. It's still standing, but there is a hole through it.
Perhaps it leveled up.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So then we move on to the undead. The undead are going to try to hit it. That's a hit. Hit. So that's 4, 5, 6. So 1 miss again. Addition. Alright, it's still up, but you're cutting through the bottom of this thing, and you can't see how it could still be standing. But it's just barely holding on at this point. So the tentacle is going to attempt to on the succubus. Since it's so close and so high, it can just do a little whip to hit it. Or try to. Yeah, that definitely hits. Good thing it's HP reset. For 18 damage. Yeah, the succubus is fine. Succubus has a lot of health. Or at least compared to you guys, a lot of health. So it's fine, relatively. So we go back up to Jayden.
Okay, I'm gonna try and hit it again with my short sword.
Sure thing. Hits.
5 damage.
Alright, let me see. Alright, so as you cut through it this time, it seems like you severed the final tipping point for it to fall, and the black inkiness falls behind you guys, and the tentacle almost hits the necromancer. It's so long, and it lands on the ground really hard, and makes a loud crashing sound. And you can see the other side of the wall like you did before, and there's 2 creatures there. Let me see. One with a 3-toed leg of some sort, so sort of like 3 toes on it, and one with a almost humanoid-looking foot. You see those 2 creatures on the other side, and you still see forest in front of you. And they're about 100 feet in that direction.
How far did the wall get destroyed? To the left and right?
It's about the same as last time. A section that's about 30 feet in radius, which would make it 60 feet across.
No.
Okay.
And you don't notice any other creatures on the other side of it at the moment.
I'm gonna go up to one of the big creatures. Or the feet.
Yes, the immense creatures, yes. Go ahead.
And I'm gonna put up the orb next to it.
Alright. So here's what happens. You put the orb up next to it, and you hear a loud as you do, and it makes a 2-foot hole, like a 2-foot diameter or radius hole. So it's 4 feet around, and you can see the other side of the creature, and you can see that there's still more forest inside.
Can I cast a spell through it? See what happens.
You can attempt to.
Try and cast magic missile through it at the
Alright.
point where I made a hole.
All right. So you're going to cast it through the orb, or just into the?
Through the orb. Yeah.
Okay, through the orb. Let me see. I'm sort of coming up on the fly with effects that this thing can channel through. Magic missile. What level are you
First
casting
level.
it? First level? Okay. You see, as you do, like little swirling missiles, like you would normally see for magic missile, but it's swirling around the orb, and it gets out wider and wider radius until there is a space big enough for 2 or 3 people to walk through. And you still hear the loud screeching of the creature that you're doing this to.
Howler, do you want to go in? I mean,
Sure.
with me? Sorry. Should stipulate that.
Why not? What could go wrong? I go in.
All right,
Yeah, I'll go
both
with-
of you enter.
Just hold on to the orb with me.
All right, so I'll assume that Howler listens to you since you know more about magic than he does. And you both have your hands on the orb, and you walk through, and as you do, the orb goes dormant,
Oh,
and the wall shuts behind you.
well, that was a bad idea.
Yep.
So you are now within this creature.
What do we see?
You see more forest. Not to be unspecific, but it's just more the Eucarid forest. It
I'm
seems
gonna.
it seems relatively untouched, even though this thing seems to be laying on it. It seems as though it's going, like the foliage and stuff is going through it. You're not sure how this creature works exactly, but you're inside it now, and your companions are kind of on the other side, banging on the or rock thrower is at least, because he's sort of worried about you. But the undead just trying to attack it and not getting through.
I don't know why I listened to you, and I'm gonna try and cut my way back out.
All right, same thing that happened last time you tried to attack it.
Okay.
The creature stopped screaming.
I'm going to not do a ritual, but I'm just going to try and identify the creature. See if it tells me anything.
It doesn't have any magical effects on it.
Okay.
But you can tell that it's a creature for sure, because when you go to it, it acts as if you did the spell to a creature. It's not like an object or anything like that. So it is definitely a living thing of some sort.
Check all the walls. See what I can feel. I don't know.
You're sort of like going along it to see.
Yeah, if there's any weak points.
It seems like it's perfectly. It's almost like a liquid that's perfectly distributed, like in a bubble sort of thing. So it doesn't seem like it has any particular structural weaknesses.
Can I check the orb?
Okay, you take the orb.
Can I see if I can channel anything back through it again?
Right. So you attempt to channel any sort of magic through it.
Yeah.
And no matter which spell you use, it doesn't seem to flare up at the moment. Seems as though it sensed its purpose and has gone dormant since its purpose has been fulfilled for the moment. That would be what you're sort of guessing from it. So you are in a forest. Not to quote Zork or anything.
No.
Classic text adventure. But you are in a forest. and you can't get back, so you have a feeling that you don't have much choice but to stay within this thing.
Can I take out the silver orb? What is that looking like right now?
It looks just like it was when you left it or saw it last. It seems fine.
I'm gonna try and channel firebolt through it, even though it's a healing orb.
All right, you attempt to channel that through it, and it doesn't do anything. It doesn't react to it in any way.
So are we like in a confined space of the forest?
There is a wall directly next to you where the leg seems to be sticking out and another creature is on this side. But otherwise, you have a huge expanse of forest that you can explore.
What's the other creature?
It's the bubble creature that you entered. But there's another one on the other side of it. And you're currently standing at the wall of it.
Can we get to the other one?
No, you can't. You'd have to go through this creature to get to the other creature. So you can't get through it.
We might have to go further in if we want to get out.
Yeah.
But there are miles and miles and miles of expanse that you can explore within here. That's how huge this creature is. Bigger than like a mountain range. That's how big this creature is.
Can you set the forest on fire?
I'll try. I'll cast firebolt on one of the nearby bushes.
Unfortunately, this foliage is full of water and doesn't burn very well, so it just sort of fizzles out quickly. You figure that you might need some sort of accelerant or something to burn something like this down.
Okay. I will put fuel on it, just a little bit.
Alright, so you were the one who took the can of fuel?
Yep.
Alrighty. So you can put a little bit of fuel on it.
Yep.
If you wish. And try it again, and you do, and the bush burns down.
Okay. So, fireworks in here.
Alright, so as you guys are sort of trying to explore ways that you might be able to get back out, you notice a little tendril of magic is extending through the air towards you. Both of you.
Oh boy.
I ready my weapons.
Yeah, same.
Sure. The tendril of magic comes towards you and clicks to where your heart is, and it doesn't seem to be hurting you at all. You don't feel pain or anything. You don't feel like your life is being drained from you or anything. It's just connected to you. And it seems to be coming from the sky in a distant area.
I will probably try and dodge it if it's just gonna fall towards me.
Yeah, it just follows towards you as you try to dodge it.
I just keep running. I keep running in a circle with a magic dot following me.
Yeah, it just keeps following you, and then eventually it just speeds up a little bit and clicks to you.
I'm going to cast light on my short sword and try and cut it, sever it.
Alright, you cast light on your short sword, and you attempt to sever this thing. It's visible in front of you. It looks almost like a mini rainbow that's going out from you, and it doesn't sever.
Okay.
I try to climb it.
You try to grab onto it. It's not physical.
So it's coming from the sky, but is it coming directly above us?
No, not directly above you. It's sort of like in the distance, like where you would imagine maybe the top of this creature might be. It's coming from over distant. It's miles away, so you can't technically see it, but it's far away.
I think we should move towards that point.
Sure. What could go wrong again?
Alright, so you see Rock Thrower. He seems, just before you leave, he seems a little bit defeated that he couldn't save you guys from get you out of there or get in there. So he's just sort of sitting on the ground with his head in his hands. And the undead are still clawing at the bubble-like creature to try to get in, but to no avail. It's not working.
Could they see us?
Um,
And could we see them?
You can see them for sure, but when you were looking at the creature from the outside, you couldn't see anything that was inside the creature.
Okay.
So you assume that they can't see through it.
Okay.
So they can make their own assumptions because you can't speak to them. Even if you try, like, they don't react as if they hear you. And you can't hear them either. Like, there's no sound coming from them. So you don't hear any sound from them. So you guys are just going to start wandering towards the source of this little wisp thing that's coming from you?
Yep.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Since you have the guide of the wisp, I won't say that you need to make any navigation rolls or anything like that. So you're fine as far as that goes. You're sort of zigzagging through trees and different wildlife and creatures. Some of the wildlife actually looks relatively normal comparative to what you may have thought was back here. Like there are some ordinary like deer galloping through the woods, and mosquitoes are sort of hassling you, and those sorts of things are around. And they aren't covered in shadow, some of them aren't, but you are noticing that, or all of them aren't, that you currently see. But you notice that each creature has a wisp connected to them of some sort. So it's a lot easier to spot flies and things like that. So you might be thankful of that you can more easily swat them away because you can see this wisp coming from them. And they all seem to be going towards the same source. You can still see the sun through the creature on the top. So the sunlight is coming through. And it's still quite early morning. Actually, it's getting closer to the afternoon at this point. And you don't see anything that's too threatening of you at the moment, and you don't see any like wolves or bears or things of that nature. Let me see. And you see, there's the trees don't have these wisps coming from them, so plants don't seem to be affected at all by this. So you continue forward, and eventually you come to a path, but the path isn't leading directly towards where the wisps are coming from. So you're currently on a path, and I'll allow you guys to react at this point. You've been walking for what seemed like a couple of hours. So I will allow you to react at this point if there's anything you would want to do.
Nothing special. Trying to get out of this place, maybe.
How about Jayden?
Nope. Just continue forward.
Alright, so you going to take the path, or are you going to just continue the lead of this wisp that seems to be coming from you?
The wisp.
Yeah, the wisp.
Alrighty. So you walk off the path that you were on, and you are continuing through the woods. Let me see. So, you get closer to where you can tell because the angle at which it's coming from you is getting steeper and steeper and steeper in front of you. So you can sort of tell that the source of this is a bit closer.
Have we gone uphill at all, or is it just
It's just
straight?
we'll say that it's different terrains, but I'm sort of skipping past that because it's walking. So
Okay.
it's nothing, no challenges that you need to roll for to get past. So it's all
I just wondered if we went uphill, like towards higher areas.
at the moment. No, you're not going uphill. You're currently just going. It's not like a steep incline like a mountain or anything or a big hill. It's mostly relatively flat, but it has inclines and declines. Like ditches and those sorts of things, sort of structure. And there's rocks and different things that you would normally find in nature. But you're not getting up in like over a bunch of the canopy or anything like that. Because you're still in the forest. So you're continuing along, and the wisp begins to eventually tilt upward, almost straight up. And you look up, and there is a large ball of light that seems to be above you. And at this point, it's getting pretty dark.
No.
So that's where the wisps are going, right?
So the wisps seem to be going almost straight up at this point, right to the source of it, which is.
I'll
Whoa.
climb a tree.
Sorry?
I'm gonna climb a tree, the one that looks tallest.
Alright, in the nearby area, they're all virtually the same size, but there's one that's a tiny bit taller, so you can climb up it. Make a no, not athletics, acrobatics, I'll say, since you're a rogue, you can use that to climb trees. Yep, you climb the tree. You're at the top, and you can see over the canopy. It just looks like a bunch of jungle. And
How far is
from
it?
from this vantage point, you can see like the walls of the creature, which are the sides, and you can see the top. But those are pretty far away.
Do I see any way to get to the top or anything?
There is no way that you can, like, there's nothing high enough that would reach this thing. It's like 200 or 300 feet up at this point.
So I'll climb back down.
All right. As you do that, I'll say that Jayden, make a perception check. Right. The main thing that I'm wanting you to see isn't too hard to see. There is. It seems like there's a constructed building of some sort nearby. It looks like a thatched, like made of sticks and things, a hut of some sort.
I'll point it out to Howler.
No, there's no way to get up. I checked.
I found a, well, looks like a little hut over there. Could check it out.
Sure.
Alright, fair enough. So you guys head towards that direction. So you enter into the hut. Well, you don't have to. I'll say that you're outside the hut at this point. And you're It's made of sticks, like thin sticks, all put together to make like a wall. And then on top it's like hay or thatch on top. And it looks like about the size of a single bedroom apartment, maybe, by today's standards. So it's a decent place for a hermit maybe to live.
Can I look for signs that anyone has been here recently?
Sure thing. Are you staying on the outside or going in?
I'm gonna go in.
I want to go in stealthily from like the back door or something.
There's only one door, but there is a window that isn't the
Yeah.
front door, if you wish to go in there. It doesn't have yeah, that's good. Stealth. There's no like glass in the window or anything. It's just a hole for
Yeah.
looking out. You can. I'll say that first you glance in. It doesn't seem like anybody's in there at the moment, so you hop on in. Jayden, do you just go in the door, the front door?
Yeah.
All right. The
Look
front
first.
doorway. It doesn't have like a door per se. It's just like I said, a hole that you can walk into it in, and you don't see any signs of anybody in there. And you see Howler hopping in the window. So it doesn't seem like anybody's in there at the moment. But you see,
Is there several floors or just this floor?
it's just the one floor. So it's
Okay.
just a single level building with, you can see the roof, like the sticks that are holding the thatch up and everything. And you also see the just a second. Alrighty, sorry about that.
That's fine.
So you can like see the top of the roof, like the stuff that's holding it up and everything. You see like tables and a couple chairs. There's a table on uh, the right side of the room, and there's two chairs to it. And there seems to be like a spice rack or something to dry spices on, or different animals that this person might hunt. And there's hooks there to put everything on. And let me see. There's that's all. Well, you can see a bedroll too that seems to be laying on the dirt floor. Other than that, that's all that's apparently obvious.
I'm thinking if I were to stay here, where would I hide my stuff? And I'm gonna make an investigation to try and find any hidden compartments.
Sure thing. Go ahead. Alright. With that, you do go a little bit further in, and you notice that there is a fire pit in the middle. That was one of the things that I forgot to say originally. And it's got like stones around it, and like the wood stacked up like this. And you notice that with that, you notice that the fire had recently been lit. But you also notice there seems to be something under the table, but you're not sure what, from where you're standing at the moment.
I'm about to find out what.
Okay, go ahead. Do you wish to just approach it and see what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Um, as you do, I'm going to need you to make a dexterity check. Or save, I should say.
Save.
Yeah. Alright, so something under the table lifts the table up and sort of tosses it at you, but you're able to move out of the way before it hits you. And it appears to be a feline humanoid, which you've met one of them before, a tabaxi. And they see that you dodged their attack and they're just sort of huddled in the corner. And you can see a wisp coming out from them, but it's going through the wall, so you wouldn't have noticed the wisp inherently. And they are just sort of, what do you want?
How long have you been here? You're at Tabaxi, right?
Yes, but we've been here for a week or more. This particular place, anyway. I don't know who used to live here.
Who are we?
Uh, our kind, the Tabashi. We live in a village nearby. I came here to scavenge, and I decided to stay for a while to see if anyone was nearby.
So, what do you know about darkness and the wall approaching?
I don't know. I was in it and then it was gone. That's all I can remember. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I guess we found them, Jayden.
The person perks up and stops being afraid and says, "But we haven't seen you in this thing. How did you get here?
We went through the darkness.
You you were one of the ones who ran away and you found a way in here?"
Yes.
So perhaps the world can be saved. Thanks the heavens. And they get up and sort of seem a little bit more calm, and they sort of address the human. For them, it's the human at this point, and they say, "So, what are you two doing here?"
Well, we kind of got trapped in here.
Same with us, really. Did you see them fall from the sky, or did you come in here after that?
Oh, I walked in here voluntarily. So, what were you saying,
Really?
Jayden?
Oh, you must be crazy.
What were
They
you saying, Jayden?
Huh?
Were you
did
saying
you
something?
respond?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, the Tabashi is sort of still shivering a little bit, but they start to walk towards the door, and they point in the direction. It's sort of the same way that you were walking, like that you were walking this way. So you continue. If you continue that in that direction, they're sort of pointing in that way and say, "The village is over there. Uh, Perhaps you could help us in some way."
perhaps.
If you wish to come to the village, follow me. And they begin to start walking.
Oh.
Yep. Go along.
All right. So it's still pretty much nighttime. At this point. So it's getting pretty dark, and the Tabashi has a torch and lights the torch and begins to lead you. And let me see. As you begin walking, you begin to see above the canopy a bunch of wisps that are in this direction, about the same size as yours. So you think that there may be a bunch of people there. You're not sure. And as you begin to walk towards the village, you see that the village is there. You see similar thatched houses and things. Let me see. There are, I should say, a few Tabashi that are just sort of sitting around in the camp with their legs crossed at the moment. They're sitting around a fire, and you see a few more walking around. Uh, they have different colors and things like that. Some seem to be more leopard print looking. Some seem to be more spots and blotches. Some seem to be more house cat like. Some seem to be more lion-esque sort of thing. They have like manes around their head, that sort of thing. And they are just sitting around, not doing too much at this point. They're just sitting around or walking back and forth. And as you approach, the Tabashi says, "Oh, I found somebody else in the woods. Is any?" And they look around, um, uh, and they say, "Well, oh, I forgot. Um, just come in." And the other Tabashi are sort of looking over at you warily, and you guys can get escorted over towards the fire. And they say, "Well, we don't have much, but we are looking for more at this point. Um, uh, if you have anything on you, you can use that if you wish, but we do have a little bit."
I have some rations.
Yeah, you do have some. You packed some of the food that they had at the camp, just in case you got in a situation like this. You sort of planned ahead. Um, so you have food that you can eat and sit around the fire for now. The other Tabashi are, they sort of have, when you saw, what's his name? Snow.
Snow.
Yeah, Snow. He had sort of like traveler's clothes on, that sort of thing. These guys are wearing like Native American sort of loincloths, and some of them have headdresses on, even. Um, so they have those sorts of things, and like necklaces with like animal teeth on them, those sorts of things. Uh, and let me see. The a few of them are they're just eyeing you warily. at this point. So you see one of them going. He's not eating, he's not moving, he's not... They even have like a little pipe full of some sort of drug, maybe. He's not taking part in that, he's just looking at you.
Yes, I do talk.
He sort of gets up. He gets up from the fire and he leaves to go talk. He seems to be heading towards one of the other ones, and he seems to be whispering to them.
Can I try and overhear them?
You can attempt to with a perception check. Alright. You only get a few things. He seems to be whisper yelling almost, if you know what I mean by that. So he's like, sort of thing, to the other one, and you get a few bits and pieces. He seems to be talking about how they've used this trick before. You're not sure what he means.
Okay, so I would connect that to the piano lady.
You definitely could. So they seem to be whispering about how they don't trust you at all.
So Jayden. Well, who are sitting next to the campfire? Is it just me and Jayden, or who else?
There's a few other Tabashi, and the one that led you here is sort of staying. He's on the other side of the fire. One of them is smoking what these this culture's equivalent of a peace pipe would be. So it's a really long pipe with maybe tobacco or those sorts of things in it.
Yeah. So then I'll tell Jayden. I think they think we are the same people as, you know, the piano lady and the shiny armor dude.
Yeah.
We probably should be careful.
Yeah.
One of them that they're passing the smoke, the pipe around, and one of them seems warily offers it to you. Whoever's sitting next to him, I'll say Howler.
Sure, I'll take a pipe.
Alright, as you breathe it in, I'll get you to make a dexterity, or not dexterity, constitution. Unfortunately, you did not save, so you begin to see some colors on the side of your vision, and your head can't seem to stay steady, but you continue to pass it on to Jayden.
Sure, I'll try.
Alright, so you make a con save as well. You make it, you see the colors, but your head is steady and you're not like woozy like he is. Perhaps the dosage is made more for people who are bigger, so the fact that a halfling took a puff of it, it's a little bit too much. So he seems a little bit unsteady at the moment. And you can pass it along.
Yeah.
Alright, so you, Howler, after about a couple, I'll say a minute, after taking part of this drug, your vision starts getting hazy and you begin, the fire that's in front of you, you begin to see shapes and almost like as if you're viewing something within the fire or made of fire, and you see like a face of a leopard that is growling and going, and it seems like it's almost going to attack you. I'm going to get you to make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay.
Fortunately, you being a roguish type, you are familiar with the effects of such things that you might be able to take, and you realize that it's an illusion of some sort that has to do with this drug that you've taken. So you're not inherently afraid of it. So you're just sort of like, oh, that's cool, sort of thing. So, but Jayden notices that he looks really unsteady, and he's just sort of looking at the fire intensely, and he's just sort of like, sort of laughing to himself.
I take out my playing cards and I ask if anyone wants to play.
Yeah, so he also is sort of giggling to himself as he says this. Anyone wants play? He's sort of slurring and everything. So Jayden, you notice this.
Yeah. I'll just put a hand on Howler and just tell him to behave.
So you are currently being told to behave.
I am behaving. I don't know what you're talking about.
And sometimes, even though what he said isn't funny, you just feel the urge to laugh.
Yeah.
I'll ask.
So, okay, go ahead.
I'll ask if there's anyone we can talk to about the state of things and what's going on.
There's one guy with he has a mane, sort of. It goes on from the top of his head, and it sort of is fluffy like a lion's mane, and it goes around his head. And he has a headdress on behind it, and it has like black raven feathers. And he says, "Me, Ravenclaw."
I bow to him.
I laugh.
He nods. It seems your friend is weak of body.
Yes. But he's a strong warrior.
He nods. And the pipe comes to him, and he takes a bunch of puffs off of it. He doesn't seem affected by it. And he passes it on. He's looking for what you want to ask him.
We just came here. We this morning we attacked the Great Darkness and severed part of the wall. But then we came here because of an orb, a magical orb. But as soon as we got in the bubble, it closed up on us.
May I see?
Yes. Handed the dormant orb.
Alright. Puts it in his hand. And then he seems to be staring at it intently. And you see a flash of magic go from his eyes. Sort of like when you use Identify. So you sort of get that he's using a similar spell, possibly. And he then continues to look at it. Yes, powerful. He hands it back.
But it doesn't seem to work anymore. We have our own camp. It seems to be unaffected by the darkness. Although, I was wondering if maybe we could get your help to reactivate this orb and then get back. And bring some of your people along with us. We have more food, and it's not affected by this.
You see, he has like a very feline mouth, like the two, like little lip sections and everything. and he seems to be very straight-faced at the moment, at least. And he says, "What makes you think we want to go there?"
People seem to be sad. Seems that you want some change at least. And we want to get back.
And he sort of motions towards the one who brought you here. "Yes, that is Kitten. He has always been afraid."
Do you know anything of these wisps that connect us?
He sort of motions to it, and he motions to the sky, and he says, "That is all I know." And he just sort of is looking at you and says, "So, how did you get here?"
Yeah. We followed the wisp over to a little hut where we found Kitten.
"No, I mean, where... How did you get in here?" And he sort of is motioning around to the large black spheroid type thing that's
Yeah,
encompassing them.
it was
We
with the
walked
wall.
there, and I laugh.
He smiles. "Yes, I remember my first time I had this. It's good, isn't it?" He's
I nod.
talking to Howler.
Yeah, I nod.
he he smiles, and it actually seems kind of weird because his upper lip is still hanging over his bottom lip, but you can see the curling of the smile on the side. And he says, "Yes, good stuff." It comes back around to Howler, but Jayden, you see it. That Howler's about to take it.
Yeah, I'll just lower it and say, I think you've had enough for now.
No, I haven't had enough. I just started.
Very well. You do what you wish.
All right, Howler, you can take another puff if you want.
I did.
All right. You begin to see even the colors that were on the sides of your vision begin to get closer to the middle of your vision. And then you're still conscious enough to pass it on to Jayden.
You want some too?
Yeah, I'll just pass it along.
And
More for me then, I guess. And I take another one.
okay, go ahead, make another con save. You're getting worse as it goes. Perfect. Yeah, the colors get even closer. You almost can hardly see anything in the except for in the middle of your vision. You just see this rainbow of colors that seem to pulsate on the
Yeah, I
sides of your
pass it
vision.
back to the person I got it from, because it's apparently going the other way now.
All right, so the guy takes it, and Jayden, you still feel the effects and you still see the colors a little bit, and you're starting to feel a little bit more relaxed than you were before. But Howler, you are still seeing spectacular visions within the fire. I'm gonna get you to make another Wisdom saving throw. This time you didn't do so well. This time you see it looks almost like a dragon is flying over the fire, and it looks like it's in the fire, like part of the fire, like a wisp of fire comes out, and it looks like a dragon, and it starts to fly towards you, and it bellows out, and it sort of spooks you a little bit. But you still know that it's a drug trip, but it sort of spooks you.
I just keep laughing at it then.
All right, that's fine. Since you saved the first time, you realize what's happening, so you're good. But you do see these strange things coming out of the fire. So Ravenclaw, he's sort of just laughing at Howler. He's just like, and then he looks over to Jayden and says, "So, you want us to come to your camp? Well, we seem fine here, don't we?"
That's true. You may do what you wish, but I need help.
Help? Doing what?
I need to figure out how to get this orb to work.
Ah, the orb. And he seems to be in contemplation. And he says, "Yes, items such as this, they tend to act on their own, if you get my meaning."
Do you know of any other items like this?
Stories, but not anything I've come into contact with.
I know of more of those. You have them.
I think he's talking to you, Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose I have a couple, but they're not working at the moment.
He nods. Yes, the temple in the forest. That must be where you came from, yes?
Yes.
And he he has more paw-like hands rather than fingers, but he still has a prehensile appendage there, so that way he can hold things. And he's just sort of running his paws through his mane to sort of straighten it a little bit. And he says, "Our kind is very interested in such devices, but once we learn their purpose, we move on and we tell the stories of these items."
Do you know of any items that are nearby?
Mm,
Or any stories?
well, it seems that you've encountered the place where the legends come from. But other than that, we don't have too much knowledge. Um, we do have stories from beyond, but I doubt they would be too helpful to you right now. So if you come back later. But for now, the stories are what you have. They refer
I ask
to.
him.
Sorry.
Okay. No, I was just gonna ask him, do you know the story of this? And I'm gonna flip him the deep known medallion, but I'm gonna miss and hit somebody else probably. But I'm gonna attempt to flip it to him.
Alright, so what I'm going to get you to do is make a dexterity ranged attack with disadvantage. You do get it close to him, at least, but you don't get it directly to him. And he picks it up. Yes. The Underground Clan. Yes. We are familiar with them. He just gently passes it along the circle back to Howler.
What about this? And I flip him antique coins.
He's willing to indulge you. He seems more amused than anything. And he sort of looks at them and he says, The right buyer, you could get a hefty price for these. And he passes them back down the circle to you.
I was hoping for a better story, but okay. And I take them back.
Well, some items don't have stories. Some do. And he begins to just reiterate pretty much what you already know about the device. He says, it is supposed to push back the darkness. We never really knew what that meant, but apparently we know now. And he looks over to the two who are sort of looking at you warily, and he motions for them to come over to him. And he places his paw on the guy's shoulder to get him to come down to his level. And he whispers in his ear, and the guy's eyes sort of widen, and he looks at you and says, "How did you get that?"
We found it in the underground.
In the old temple, correct?
Well, which one? Are you referring to the silver or the glowing?
The only one he is referring to is the glowing. I
We
suppose.
found it.
We have many orbs. We have a lot of them. We have so many to choose from.
He looks at you. He hisses at you.
I laugh at him.
The chieftain is also a little bit happy about that, but the man is not. He's not too happy, but you would just keep laughing no matter how sour his face got, so he's not going to bother. So he looks at Jayden and he says, "So it is true then. At least you have a chance of getting us free." And he looks at the chief, and the chief says, "Why should we be free of this? Free of our homeland? Why would you want to be free?" And the man says, "It is our rite of passage to travel. We cannot travel with this thing in our way." And the chieftain is just giggling to himself. "Well, since we have nowhere to go, why go? Stay here." And the man is just, he's just not having any of it.
Well, we're trying to get out.
And the one that was whispering to him, he says, "Oh, okay, we have a few of us who are willing to search the area. We can look around for you. We do have a few scouts in the area. They may be back in the morning. We'll help you with some reports at least. Sorry that we are wary of you. There are some creatures that are not covered in the shadow that they are deceptive."
Evil. I got it. Evil. We
He
found them
nods to you.
before.
He nods to you,
Did you?
although he's a little bit wary of you. He knows that you are
I
quite.
asked him. Did the evil people play pianos?
He just sort of puts his paw in his face, and he's just like, "Pianos." He's sort of
Don't
just
trust pianos.
he's just very confused at you. So he just is trying to ignore you. And he says, "Your friend hasn't done drugs in a while, huh?"
I suppose not.
"Yes, it helps us see visions for our vision quests, but other than that, it's just recreational. Especially at the moment, we don't really have anywhere we can go. At least not too far."
we need a place to stay for the night. And I understand that you're wary of us, but I think it's best if you have people watching. I'm sure we've had the same problem as well. So you take any precautions that you feel necessary.
Ravenclaw looks over at Kitten, and he sort of motions for him to come closer, and he whispers to him. And Kitten says, yes, he says that you can stay in the shack that I found you in. There's only one bedroll, but and he looks at your guys' backpacks that you have. He says, it seems you have that covered anyway, so you can stay there. It's not too far. It's only about maybe 10-15 minute walk away.
Okay.
Yep.
And he says, and Ravenclaw says, but I do warn you, that stuff I gave you, it may give you some weird dreams. I'll leave it at that. Especially your first time.
Noted.
And he's just sort of relaxing into his spot. Yes, so if you have any more questions you can ask, otherwise you can retire. Or you can look around, although some people may be wary of you. But I will try to dissuade them, since you have the artifact that is their opposite. So I will just notify them.
Okay. I think I'll retire.
I'm gonna
Right.
stay. I'm just
And
sitting there.
the chief is allowing you to stay there, so you are
Yeah.
welcome to stay there as long as you want. Although they seem to be passing over you for the peace pipe at this point.
No, that's not fair.
He's although the chieftain keeps on jokingly saying, "Yes, give him some more, give him some more," and you, of course, are trying to get more, but the one who's beside you is sort of not. He's sort of trying to pass it by you. You can try to
Okay.
take it if you want.
Yeah, sure. What could go wrong?
All
What did I
right.
roll?
I'll say. Dexterity, just straight dexterity. Try to grab it from him. Yep. You grab it from him, and he just sort of gives you a sour look. You can take a few more puffs if you want.
Sure, why not?
Alright, give me some more
My
constitution.
character's gonna die of overdosing.
Alright, so you're good. The first puff didn't really seem to affect you very much, so you take another one, and this time your eyes are completely glazed over with this color, and you're the other people around sort of notice that you're sort of wobbling back and forth, and then you just sort of fall back and you pass out. And let me see. I don't know if I want to get into the dreams yet. Yeah, I'll get into his at least.
Oh, we have two different with this time.
Yeah, you have two different dreams this time. They're not linked.
Okay.
So
Also, if the dreams are just out of game, if the dreams are gonna take very long, it's like 25 minutes, and it's where we usually stop.
I'm aware. So
Okay.
So the first thing that you see in your dream is your specific dream, Howler, is you see it looks like a rainbow in a void of black, although you see like light shining on you and it's almost too bright to see. And then coming out from the rainbow, you
How do I
see. Sorry.
how do I feel? Do I feel like before, or do I feel normal?
You feel really relaxed and good, but you're not like laughing or anything anymore.
Okay.
You see coming out from it a rainbow colored wolf, and it howls in the air. I'll allow you to react at this point.
I'm gonna howl back at it.
And it seems to be receptive to it, and it approaches you, and it's sort of like the colors are flowing through it like liquid almost, and it's just standing in front of you, and it seems almost too dog-like, but it's sort of like just sitting in front of you with its tongue out, looking at you.
What do I have on me? Do I have all my stuff, or?
Uh, you look down at yourself, and you seem to be in a robe of some sort. You don't have any
Okay.
of your equipment or anything. You just look like you're in a white silk robe, and that's all.
I'm gonna try and mount the wolf.
All right. Give me an animal handling. All right. It seems a little bit reluctant, but it lets you on, and it just sort of looks back at you, and it's just sort of got its tongue down its cheek, and it's just looking at you.
I say go that way, and I point somewhere.
All right. So you point forward, and it starts galloping almost like a horse, but then you realize you are on a horse, and you're in a big open meadow filled with grain, like some sort of wheat or barley or something. And it looks like there's even sunflowers around. And you're just galloping through this field.
Am I still just in my robe, or? Am I still just in my robe, or?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go gallop towards the field then.
All right. So you're in the field and you're galloping, and you feel very joyful almost, and you're just seeing the sunflowers in the distance. But suddenly the flowers aren't in the distance anymore. They're right in front of you, and they have large smiling faces, and they're all looking at you.
Well, I'm just gonna keep riding around in the flowers then.
All right. And as the flowers get trampled by the horse because they're so close, they start saying "Yay! Yay! Yay!" even when they're getting trampled, and it's a pretty trippy dream. And that's the last thing that you remember before you wake up.
Okay.
All right. So Jayden, you go back to the place, and you notice that Howler didn't follow you back, but you figure that the cat people know how to take care of people who are doing that sort of recreational stuff.
Yeah.
So you think he's safe. So you're back at the hut, and you can use the bread roll that's there, or you can unpack your own.
I'll unpack my own.
All right. So you unpack it, and you roll it out, and you lay down on it, and you still notice the little bit of color on the sides of your vision. And you fall asleep pretty quickly. As soon as you lay down, then your eyes just sort of, even though you sort of wanted to wait for Howler to come back, you just sort of fell off to sleep. You couldn't control it. And you see a similar rainbow that I described before in a black void, and it's so bright you can hardly look at it. And then a rainbow creature. Let me see. This one is, let me see. It looks like a fish swimming through the air towards you.
Yeah. Do I have any equipment on me?
You have a white robe.
Okay. I'll just try and grapple it.
Alright, so you're going to try to wrestle this fish?
Yep.
Alright. Do a grapple check. I think it's athletics. Alright, so you just barely get a hold of this fish, but it's flopping around in your arms. But you feel like you're having the most fun you've ever had in your entire life. Like you're just like a kid again, trying to catch this thing. You're like, yeah, and you're wrestling with this fish, and then suddenly you're in water, but you can breathe, and the fish is like taking you forward, and suddenly you're at an underwater castle.
I'll explore it. I'll go towards the throne room.
All right. So you swim down, and you let go of the fish, or do you hold on to try to bring the fish with you?
Probably let go.
All right. So the fish swims off, and it was a similar rainbow color. But as you're swimming down, you're looking at the castle, and you think that you're not gaining any progress, but then suddenly you are where you wanted to be. You are in the throne room, and you're sitting in the throne, and there are mermaids around you that look like actual human ladies rather than like monsters or anything like that, with like tails and those sorts of things. And they're serving you food, like grapes and those sorts of things.
And I eat the grapes.
You eat the grape, and it tastes pretty good for a grape, at least. It's one of the best grapes you've ever had. And one of the mermaids swims in front of you and says, "Save us! Save us!" in a very playful, like, way. And you look down at yourself, and you notice that you're half mermaid as well. And one of the male mermaids is sort of chasing the woman, and she wants you to save her from this male mermaid thing.
Yeah, just try and grapple him.
All right, do another athletics. All right, you get him, and you sort of push him away, and he pretends like he got killed, and he's like, "Ugh." And the woman goes, "Yay, yay!" And everybody's happy around you, and you just feel happy. And that's the last thing that you remember before waking up. All right, so you both wake up. We'll just end it off at pretty close to here. You notice, Howler, you notice that you are now back in the hut that you first came here in, and Jayden is next to you. You're just sort of laid on the bedroll that was already there. So you both
I
wake
checked
up.
for all my stuff.
All your stuff is there. Everything that's
Yeah,
on
yeah.
your equipment list. It takes you a couple minutes to look through it all, but everything that's there is there.
We got a full rest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a full rest. And you actually feel a little bit happy and a little bit sad that you're not still in that strange dream. Both of you. So you're both a little bit sad that you're not still in that strange dream.
Strange dreams.
This one was rather fun compared to the other ones.
Alright, so unless you guys have anything else you would want to say at this point, we'll end it off here for this week.
Okay.
I need to purchase some of that. What's it called?
Didn't actually find out what it was.
That
Just
thing.
did it.
I need to buy some of that thing.
Although you may be able to ask them later on. If you wish.
Yep.
So unless you guys have anything else, that's it. End it off there. Just woke up from the happiest dream of your life.
Okay.